Well, hello. Welcome to Friday Night Frenzy. It is Friday, April 12th, 2024, and 808 has to be a new record at least for the last 4 months. So chat was chiming in pretty early, saying Ian was on time. He was waiting for me, and hanging out back here while I was gathering things that I needed for the stream. And we have a Potter sighting.
That's Zora.
Oh, Zora's there. I see Zora.
That's because I've got these. Oh, there's Potter in the background.
There's Potter.
Potter.
Oh, yeah, no, Potter's not gonna. Yeah. You have crazy and you have sleepy.
Potter's not gonna miss out on this.
Yeah. No.
Zora is unhappy because Mrs. Runkle is away for the weekend. And so she
Mrs. Runkle.
She has opinions about that. Mrs. Runkle is off. She does volunteering, so she's off at a thing for that. And yeah.
Well, good. She's volunteering, so we have you to talk about some one story that's sports ball, the other story that is not sports ball.
I prefer the not sports ball story.
I know. I figured that you would. I figured that you would appreciate that one. It was a busy week. What were you up to this week? I saw you were covering some stuff this week.
Yeah, I just put out a video on there's a story that's been going on in Ontario. This guy was robbed. He was a convenience store clerk.
Yeah.
And this guy came in with a bat to rob him. He gets the bat away from the robber and is now charged with aggravated assault, which has a maximum sentence of 14 years. He's not going to get 14 years, but it's got a maximum sentence of 14 years. But the guy who is the store clerk is also he's here on a student visa, basically.
Oh, so no. So he gets the violent offenses and mandatory.
If he gets convicted, he gets deported.
Yep. Mandatory yeet from country.
Yep. And I mean, when you watch the video, he does give the guy, he tags the guy once as the guy sort of turns to run away. And then he hits the guy once he's on the ground. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. That's too far for this. But I still feel like maybe this isn't the best solution. So it kind of shows the unfairness of our system overall. But yeah.
Well, we have more positive stories today. There's been a lot of murder cases that we've been talking about. I haven't been able to cover a lot of the things except for the Kohberger nonsense. I have expressed opinions on that on Ian's channel. I'm going to let those opinions live on that channel because I was in a mood watching that second hearing for the third or fourth time. Yeah, but if you guys want to check out the opinions I have on the negativity, the Kohberger case, check that out on Ian's channel. It was pretty interesting to cover. But chat, how you guys doing? Where are you tuning in from? Do you have a cocktail handy? Do you have some popcorn ready? What are you guys up to? I actually want to hear from you guys what you're doing. So let's see. So sad. Do you think the guy on the ground threatened him? Based on Ian's recitation of the story, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, before he was on the ground, he didn't just threaten him. He actually hit him with the bat. So, so I mean, that's kind of beyond threatening, but that's before he lost the bat. And the problem with self-defense law is that once the other person sort of
becomes go defender, like the person that's when you become the person that
once they're like, we're done here, you have to stop. Like you can't. And so it happens all the time where two people get into a fist fight. One guy might have started it, but the other guy gives him like one last kick when he's on the ground. And that parting kick can get you sent to jail. So it's Yeah.
Oscar chiming in. I'm glad we're not doing Koberger. Everyone in that case annoys me. Bill, Judge. I echo that frustration. So it's
Rob, you haven't had any opinions about that case at all.
None, not at all. Nope. And I figured that, you know what, I kind of wanted to stick to two happier topics tonight, with one quasi happy topic slash complicated topic towards the beginning. Yeah, Mother of Beagles, red wine, and Ben and Jerry's. That's a great combination. Ice cream with red wine is always phenomenal. Jessica Hicks, 50th birthday tomorrow.
Rob, have you tried red wine and Coca-Cola?
Yes, I have. I hate you. You made me do that. It's terrible. Jessica Hicks, happy 50th tomorrow. It is my 40th birthday this month. So programming announcement for those that are watching and interested. Next weekend, I'm not going to do a regular FNF. Next weekend is going to be a 200,000 members, 200,000 subscriber celebration, birthday, and channelversary stream. And I will do the reading of the disbarment. So that is next weekend, because I don't want to be covering a lot of law stuff next week. I was supposed to have trial, but that got shifted. So yeah, that'll be next week. And then we'll be back to FNF after that. California and water, train ride across Germany. Tonks is doing a sandpaper and wood project from Washington State. Phenomenal. I love it. Keep them in the shop. I need to get in the shop so bad. Mango juice and cheesies.
Oh my God.
Are cheesies a thing, or is it Cheez-Its?
Cheesies. Have you never had cheesies?
What are cheesies? That's a tall eyebrow.
Let me find a picture.
I don't know why you're judging me right now. Carla Barrick, wine in Seattle.
I'm not so much judging you as I'm just like, is this not a thing that exists outside of Canada? Is this one of those things?
It might be. We finally have pickled chips here, and all dressed chips we finally have in the US. So yeah.
Well, that's about time.
Cider in Calgary, Diet Coke in Kansas. Crocheting, go make something, you'll feel better. I haven't. Oh, someone shipped me those. They're phenomenal. They are like cheese puffs on steroids. Like they are
really good,
really cheesy.
So yeah, they are really good. So yeah.
Maggie May coming in and making us all feel bad watching FNF while Pelotoning. Well, Maggie, I am not going to shade you for doing the Pelotoning, but I am going to feel guilty on the inside for not doing the same. So that's what you get. Rebecca Muse, water in Frederick, phenomenal. Nicole has ADHD. Happy Friday indeed. It is Friday. We've got two stories that I want to get caught up on. One's sports ball, the other one's not sports ball. Ian has opinions on which one we should cover. We're covering both. Misty M doing homework and listening in. I've made it halfway through student teaching. Congratulations. Way to go. Okay, let's get caught up. I've got one quick story that I know that you have seen in the media because I saw you post about it on Twitter, and I had to grab the story because it was pretty funny. Well, not funny. It's the definition of FAFO. How a heroic 85-year-old woman killed a violent home intruder who handcuffed her to a chair.
Oh,
you saw the story, didn't you?
Yep, and I'm definitely going to comment on that one as well because it's. I mean, yeah, it's messed up.
How this woman, so 85-year-old Christine Jenian was hailed by prosecutors for her grit, determination, and will to live for her actions after Derek Condon allegedly handcuffed her to a chair and threatened to kill her during a violent home invasion. I think the allegedly is interesting because she, by the evidence, kind of scooted over in the chair while handcuffed. An 85-year-old woman from Idaho. Why is everything in Idaho these days? Everything. She will not face charges for killing a man, prosecutors say, threatened her life during a home invasion last month. Bingham County prosecutor Ryan Jolie reviewed the incident, ultimately deciding Christine Jenian was justified in taking any and all means necessary to defend herself and her son. the night she shot and killed alleged home invader Derek Condon. In the incident review, Jolly laid out the truly harrowing events, revealing how Condon outsmarted her alleged attacker in the middle of the night while her disabled son was also in the house. According to the prosecutors, citing Jenny-Ann's statements and an investigation, the incident went down around 2 a.m. on March 13, 2024. Both Christine and her disabled son David were home and asleep at the time when a man, later identified as Condon, who was dressed in a military jacket, black ski mask, and pointing a gun and flashlight at Jenny, woke her up.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did they put scare quotes around disabled son David?
Because they took it from the report. I don't know. I get the point. It seems kind of odd. Like,
that's a choice.
Yeah.
That I have opinions.
Well, like, here's where we get to the FAFO part. The report stated that the blood evidence suggested that Condon likely struck Chris. Why are the scare quotes on the likely? Are we afraid to say that the report was accurate?
I mean, or quote larger sections that don't make it seem like you're throwing shade. Like, you could say the report says that blah, 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 and you quote a big section of it.
Oh, the attached release is there, but it's in a photo. We're going to keep reading the article.
Yeah, the attached release is on Facebook, posted as pictures. It sucks.
Which is really hard to view.
I'm gonna go over the attached release on Monday.
So see if you can like PDF it so we can scroll it rather than just doing the.
That was the plan. Yeah.
So Condon then asked where her valuables were kept in the home, and he placed the pistol against her head after she told him she didn't have much. While searching for the valuables, Condon allegedly became aware that Jenny-Ann's son was also home and became angry with Christine for not telling about him before threatening to kill her. At one point, while Condon was downstairs, Christine drug the chair she was handcuffed to into her bedroom and retrieved her .357 Magnum from under her pillow. 85-year-old granny, .357 under the pillow. Wow.
I mean, 357. I own a 357. I can tell you, it kicks.
Well, and you also
it's got some
that pillow's probably also got a little cushion to it, because you would feel that under a lot of pillows.
I mean, it depends. It might be a small 357, in which case it would have even more oomph.
Yeah. So she somehow scoots into the bedroom, handcuffed to her chair, then goes back into the living room and hid the revolver between the armrest and cushion of a couch next to where she was seated, and waited to see what Condon did next. The report noted that Jenny-Ann's memory of what happened next remains somewhat unclear, but she said, well, that's to be expected. I mean, you remember
also,
going
to the room. She talked to a lawyer. If she talked to a lawyer, that is, it's like, hey, maybe don't like just dish everything, because they got him with a gun there. And the last thing you need is something like, well, and then he said he was, going to leave. So and then I shot him. Like, they don't want so.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm doubting this guy was going to leave. Like, you have an 85-year-old handcuffed to a chair that you just woke up in the dead of sleep.
I think, but for the gun, it ends with her and her son dead.
Well, she ultimately makes the decision that it was now or never when he returned to the living room, and that's when she drew her weapon and shot him twice. He reportedly returned to fire, hitting badass grandma in the abdomen, leg, arm, and chest. Wow. Before retreating to the kitchen where he died. Jenny-Ann, meanwhile, remained handcuffed to the chair for about 10 hours before her son came downstairs, gave her a phone, and she called 911. She was then treated for her wounds and survived. Later investigation found Condon's car near Jenny-Ann's home with footprints leading towards the victim's house, as well as a screwdriver by a broken window at the back of the house. On his body, they found a lockpick set, his car key, a handcuff key, and a bag containing items he had stolen from the residence.
You gonna come at grandma? You better not miss, because grandma does the business.
She didn't. Handcuffed to a chair, and she hit center mass, apparently. Jolly concluded that Jenny-Ann had acted in self-defense. fair conclusion, and Condon's death was justifiable homicide according to the Idaho law, saying the incident, quote, also presents one of the most heroic acts of self-preservation I've ever heard of. Summing up the night's alleged events support his decision, he wrote, Condon was still in the act of his violent home invasion when Christine chose to engage him with deadly force. He had told Christine that he would kill her multiple times, had broken into her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed her to a chair, and struck her with his firearm. Her disabled son was downstairs in his room. She's also 85 years old. Any reasonable person would believe it necessary to defend themselves or their disabled son under such circumstances. Good on you, prosecutor. But that's a whole lot of caveats. I wonder if one of those facts changed, if they would have changed their charging decision. I don't think so, but you never know. But yes, the fact that a 85-year-old survived the encounter is truly incredible. Her grit, determination, and will to live appear to be what saved her that night. Jolie wrote it, saying she was justified in taking any and all means necessary to defend herself and her son that night. His review ended by saying that had Condon survived, he'd be facing charges for attempted murder, kidnapping, burglary, aggravated battery, and grand theft. All of this is per East Idaho News, and Jenian has been released from the hospital. So, FAFO. Wow.
I also just want to say he's going to be arriving in the afterlife, and the first thing they're going to be doing is they're going to say, so,
how'd you get here?
You lost a fight with an 87-year-old woman. So not only have we got a very warm seat for you, but also everyone else here is going to be laughing at you.
Yeah. Paula Simic. What's grand theft as opposed to theft? Grand theft is usually distinguished by the value of what you're seeking to steal. 5,000 or more is generally in the grand theft department.
And the thing is,
on jurisdiction.
It depends on jurisdiction, and also those numbers only very rarely get adjusted for inflation. So what ends up happening is they'll set like, here is an amount that is like this ridiculous amount that, you know, indicates that you are some master criminal. And then as inflation happens, it ends up being like much less. Like Grand Theft Auto, it's really difficult to steal a vehicle that's under Grand Theft in most places. Because if they'll set it at like $5,000.
Not to throw shade. But would your vehicle still qualify for Grand Theft?
Probably, because used cars right now are really
true point,
insanely expensive. So that said, I mean, I drive a Civic that is like a 2009 Civic. So I don't know. I can tell you, like, if somebody spits on the Civic, insurance will say that it's a write-off. Like, you know, it's like, but the question is, could I actually replace it for less than 5,000? And I don't know that I could.
Probably not. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But looters, be warned, you might run into an 85-year-old who's packing a 357. So,
and I'm okay with that.
Oh, I'm very okay with that. Granny did what she had to do. So, pretty impressive. Let's see. Let's get caught up on some of this comments here. Vez finally catching a live. Hey guys, hey Vez, it's been a while. Glad to see you.
Yeah.
K-Rab, please let Chase know our thoughts are with him and his family. If there's anything we can do to help, he just needs to shout. I did text Chase. I also responded to him on the Twitter post that he made. Chase Hughes of the behavioral panel he revealed that he had previously been diagnosed with some form of epileptic seizure and a neurological disorder that the doctors are still kind of analyzing. It was pretty damn brave of him to do that. And then also to say that he's going to document it, whether he improves or declines, he's going to keep documenting it. My heart does go out to him. That's someone who has seen. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a tough thing. And you know, it is brave for sure, because it's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, we're just gonna roll on and, you know, whatever else. So yeah.
As someone who's kind of seen what the brain can do or not do when it's not really functioning properly, it's pretty scary to think that you might have to face that situation as an adult and all of a sudden kind of not realize a lot of things in a particular moment. So yeah, I did reach out to him and told him that I was pulling and I was there if he ever needed anything. Jackie Lynn, you know what you don't run into during doing cybercrime? 85-year-olds with 357s. I mean, good. Just, I don't know. Good point. Traveling Science Man sent you an email with a gift, Rob. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Traveling Science Man. EFAZ, thanks for becoming a member. Cindy Winnie, thank you for the super chat. Trace Fagan, I sent you a gift. Did you get in the mail? I picked up a bunch of stuff from the post office. I have some unopened. I have some opened, and I will be sending thank yous to those individuals. Thank you.
I am so bad at sending out thank yous.
I sit down. At it. I sit down and I have a stack and I go through as many as I can, and it's difficult to set that time apart, and I really need to make it more of a priority. I did it a couple weeks ago, and I've got to do it. Another batch going out soon. Cindy Crochet, thanks for the member chat. Daffy, love you guys. Thank you. Sarah Gruber, thank you very much. In Augusta, drinking Arnold Palmer. Yeah, this week is Masters week. Golf, not the sports ball we're talking about tonight, but golf. I love Masters week. It's one of my favorite weeks of the world, favorite weeks of the year. Also, because the fact that the Masters, talked about this before, they have an app on your phone. And this one app that exists for 1 week of the year is one of the best researched, implemented, and created apps I've ever seen. It covers, I can watch every player's shot from every angle within, like, I can take like a 5-hour round of golf and watch it in 25 minutes. It's really impressive. Lynn Britton, 1 year of spending time with you awesome folks. Thank you, Lynn. Glad to see you here. Midnight L 2008, rum and coke in Massachusetts kickoff vacation week. 1, cheers to the vacation. 2, why would you drink that abomination? I am judging.
Rum and coke?
Oh no, rum and coke. I thought it was wine and coke. Oh, rum and coke's fine. Rum and coke is fair. That's fair.
I was like, Rob.
I read it again.
That's yeah.
Rum and coke, fair game. You are not a heathen. You drank rum and coke. Jade in Florida from UK, catching you guys live. I'm glad you're enjoying the weather. Hope you are. Hope you're avoiding those tornadoes.
I got to decide what I'm going to drink. On one hand, I've got a nice 10-year-old Scotch. Or I've got a 4-liter value jug of vodka.
Nope. Vodka should not be sold in plastic bottles. It shouldn't. That harkens back to college, and I think Burnett's was the one that came in the plastic bottle. Oh, or Popov. Popov did too. Oh, that brings back a whole lot of really bad memories. No. Why did you buy that? Why?
I bought it because the local government wants to prevent them from selling it. And so I got to record a video later tonight trying that stuff out and being like, so let's talk about the Alberta government and the decisions they're making.
Okay. Jessica,
Rob's
opinion.
like,
I am abstaining. I am abstaining from all of that. All of that.
There's probably, like, if you ever come visit, there will probably be some of this bottle left.
I would hope so, because I'm hoping you're not going to drink it.
I mean, I'm not going to finish it all, certainly.
Jessica Hicks' opinion on the Apple River stabbing verdict. I didn't have a chance to watch any of that trial. I know that people had opinions. The only thing that I watched was a brief snippet of Sharafi's cross-examination, and I will say that from opinion standpoint, Mr. Sharafi is probably one of the best attorneys I've ever seen conduct a cross-examination.
He's so good. I mean, His cross-examination in the Rittenhouse trial was top-notch, and yeah.
He needs to teach a class on it because it's so methodical and it's so well thought out. And what people don't appreciate is the planning it takes to get there and to make it seem that easygoing. He's a brilliant attorney, but I didn't see the verdict. I saw he got convicted, but I don't know enough to give an opinion on it. I really don't.
There's a video. It's unfortunate, but the question is whether or not he went too far. So, yeah.
DSN, hello to the great mods. Hello to the great mods indeed. Please love the mods. Thank the mods. They volunteer their time here on Fridays, and I very much appreciate everything they do for the channel. And they also send me wonderful topic suggestions along the way. They're a great group of people that are here to kind of make the chat a wonderful place for all. Reese Marie, thanks for becoming a member. Fiona W, thanks for gifting memberships. Much appreciated. And same with you, Sim. Much appreciated for the gifted memberships. Rainman YYC, thank you for gifting memberships, as well as Baby Steps. Thank you for gifting memberships. Crazy Cat Queen, I spent almost 9 years playing amateur baseball. Yes, baseball, men's baseball in Japan. We are learning some stuff, Crazy Cat Queen. Some of the best years of my life, also some of the most drunken years of my life. Okay. Social/work drinking is no joke in Japan. I have not experienced. I do need to plan like a sabbatical later in my life to go to Japan to do like woodworking classes, but
oh man, you want to learn like the Japanese joinery?
That's one of my bucket list items.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like spend like a 2-month period there.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that because yeah, for people who don't know, Japanese joinery could be amazing, and yeah.
Yep. Light Queen, good evening from Van Isle, Canada. Thank you, Light Queen, much appreciated. And I've got a chat here that I don't know if it's a trolling remark or not. I'm going to pull it up just because. But FYI, Mike from Red Bar is streaming right now, showing leaked text and exposing me for being in defeat. I'm going to take that as just a joke. Gross stuff. Hope it's not true. I don't think so. The only time I've ever done anything feet wise is when I did the Lizzie Borden thing without shoes.
And that was accidental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to demonstrate that couldn't happen. But Daniel, welcome. Glad to see you here, buddy. Mindy FS, the channel gets better all the time. Awesome, Rob. Thank you, Mindy. Cookie Mon Steve, lovely evening here on the West Coast. Burgers and deciding on which cocktail as I'm waiting. Looking forward to an entertaining evening. Paper plane ?
Yes. The answer is yes. Rob, have you had a paper plane?
Is it a cocktail? I'm trying to remember what's in it.
So it's Aperol. No, not Aperol. It's or I think it is Aperol. Aperol, Amaro Nonino, bourbon, and lemon juice. In equal.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
They're really good. I've basically described them as the first 3 taste like a lemon drop, and then after that they taste like a lemon drop with like a slight floor aftertaste.
Well,
because there's 3 kinds of alcohol mixed together.
Lost me at the floor aftertaste.
It's never had it because there are 3 kinds of alcohol mixed together with lemon juice. They're
you ever had a dirty bar rag?
No.
Good. You probably shouldn't. It's a bartender's joke when like someone who's on their 21st birthday or some a-hole is like, give me a shot, whatever you got. You take the bar rag and you squeeze it out in a shot.
Yeah, that probably is against the health code.
I've never done it ever. Never, ever, ever have I ever done that.
The one that's always fun is people have ordered me like a prairie fire on multiple occasions, thinking that it's going to do something, and it's just like bad. It's like I actually enjoy that shot. The problem with the prairie fire is that it's too weak.
Alcohol wise or spice wise?
Spice wise. I need to get them to do a prairie fire with like my hot sauce.
No.
When I did the meetup in Vancouver, I actually managed to talk the meetup place into doing wings with my hot sauce, and they were very good. I would have eaten more of them. I was just trying to share them out so that everyone else could taste them, and it was like, but I may have hurt some people. But yeah, they were good.
Brian Allen, I see your super chat. I'm going to hang on to it to when we cover Ohtani's story. AZ Genie, crocheting is my life. LOL keeps hands and mind busy. Good for you. And that's a good way of keeping busy, is keeping your brain occupied and doing the fun stuff. Jam, victims matter. Love catching guys live. Thanks for being here. Glad to see you live. Jackie Lind, value jugs of gut rot vodka is only good for cleaning solution. No one's saying drinks that stuff. Well, you're in
great news.
Yeah. Because the person who's proposing to drink it is not sane. Ian, I have to pull something up real quick. And while I do that, someone who in the comment about crocheting while distracting. And I did something while I was distracting myself being interviewed. I don't think the interview's back up yet.
Uh-oh.
But I made Legos, and it was so much fun.
I want to get the D&D Lego set. The problem is...
Wait, yeah, 1 sec. Keep talking.
It's not cheap. It's like $450 Canadian. And so as much fun as that might be to get for like a Lego stream with, it's just like, I don't know if I can justify it. Like, I don't know if I can just but maybe it's probably a good one. So yeah, I gotta get that. I gotta make that call as to whether or not I'm gonna buy the insanely stupid Lego set. But yeah, I mean, Lego's fun. Nothing wrong with Lego, and yeah. I'm also gonna bring this one up in the chat.
Pull it up. Oh, Amanda, did you meet up with Ian?
Yep, she was at the meetup there, and so
that's awesome.
The wings have been given a seal of approval there.
How cute is this Lego set, man?
That is very cute.
This movie. I love this movie.
That movie has like the best emotional sucker punch of all time.
Oh, it does. It's also one of the best montages of all time at the very beginning, where they go through the meeting of the two of them.
Oh, it's an absolute emotional like gut punch. It's like, you
phenomenal.
bastards.
What a great movie. So that was on the channel Making Law Simple, or Michigan Law Show. And the reason why I kind of pulled that up is, do you have David's new channel, Ian? A link to it?
I do. Yep.
Can you share that in either the group chat or the private chat, or on the live chat, and I can pin it?
I'll have to find the link here.
So Michigan Law Show, Making Law Simple, went by two names. And his channel was rather, he had like 7,000 subscribers. He covered a bunch of stuff innocuously. Didn't really go hard in the paint on a lot of stuff. Really nice guy. And his channel got taken down in very rapid succession this week. And it was an unfortunate thing to watch, because I think I didn't agree with the process by which it was taken down, or the facts that were alleged in the process of taking it down. But I am not powerful enough to stand up against the YouTube overlords. So what I would like to do is see if we can't divert people to his new channel, which, let me see, because he can't post. Because what you don't understand is when YouTube does a takedown like that, you lose the ability to post anything.
Yeah.
Can't post to people, can't post on your channel, can't do nada. it's a problem because you can't even tell people that you have other channels or that you disagree. You're kind of stuck. Let me see if he's got it up. I think he does.
Oh, come on, YouTube. YouTube just age restricted my latest video. Because the guy gets hit with a bat, but you can't see anything. Like, their policy is no blood, no gore, no anything like that. I'm annoyed.
Let me post this real quick.
YouTube are being jerk faces.
Yeah. So I just pinned his new channel to the top of the chat. Guys, please go check it out. I didn't agree with the takedown. He was covering some stuff that I don't know who the Hales are. And I have no interest in knowing about that case or what's going on with it. I just saw some of the back and forth, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm pointing people to his new channel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole big
mess. So do me a favor. If you're here, go subscribe, watch the content. I think he's going to be uploading some of the Lego streams that included me building that Lego set while being interviewed. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. And then people have asked how Leo did at his first time at daycare. So let's see how he did at daycare.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I think he did well. That's a happy pup. Yeah, he did well. He enjoyed the daycares. Very much.
I find they tend to.
Oh my gosh, he's so handsome. I wish he was not a crazy person, but he's so handsome. Unless he sees other dogs. When he sees other dogs, that's what you get. You get that. And then he's playing with a new golden, and this is like the gangly play version where they don't really realize how big their bodies are, so they can't really corner or turn. I don't know what to do. Yeah. Oh, and there's my nephew. My newest nephew. So cute dogs, cute humans. So that's kind of an update on the things that occurred this week. Apart from that, we had the Herndon office of Whitback Bennett opened, and we officially had our ribbon cutting ceremony. We've been open for months, but we had a ribbon cutting ceremony that was wonderful. A lot of people showed up for that. It was really cool. Then, a lot of litigation stuff. It's kind of catching people up on what I've been doing this week. I was supposed to have trial on Monday and Tuesday of next week, but it got continued for opposing counsel having some personal issues that needed to be attended to. So an agreed continuance was in order for that, which brought back some interesting memories of when my dad passed and having to continue a trial date when that occurred. But it was, like I said, interesting week. So let's get caught up on some of these chats and then get to our first real story. Rose Lee, 5 months. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. You don't have to thank me. Thank you guys for being here. Trace Fagan, please don't. I'm not doing a lot. I talking about the content that was being covered there. No.
Oh, they're saying, don't get into the Hale stuff. I mean,
no, I have no interest. None. Marsma, question is there such a thing as a clandestine paramour? I can see citing that in a pleading. The clandestine paramour, the person that's being hidden. Yeah. Why? Why is that an interesting question? KT, I got out of the hospital recovering at home. Congratulations. Being out of the hospital. Hospitals suck. They're terrible. I'm glad you're home. Take that time to recover. Please take that time to recover. Melissa, hey everyone, catching up on 2X while blow drying my 4-year-old daughter's long, curly, strawberry brown hair. Hopefully she'll sleep soon after. Good luck. Good luck. 4 years old, easy. 8, 9, Good luck. Glad to see you here. Brissy girl, did you blah, 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 got Spanky Millennium? Did you see someone got the Spanky Millennium Falcon Lego set? I don't know what that is.
Spanky as in
the creator?
No, what's his the Crap Cuts guy, I believe. I think that's who they're referring to. So
I know there's
that is
a
awesome.
content creator that goes by Spanky, but that's cool. Teresa, thank you. Or Teresa. Enjoying my evening with you too, with a peanut butter old fashioned. I love the screwball. Peanut butter old fashions in general are phenomenal. That's my favorite cocktail of all time.
I like the old fashioned. I've just never thought of it as with peanut butter.
Good point. Jessica Hicks, great question. The timing of this story was unfortunate. For those of you who were not following the news this week, there was a deposition in the state of Nevada that was scheduled to be conducted. 4 people were involved in the depo: attorney, party. On one side of the equation was an attorney who happened to be the father of his son, who was the party to the litigation. On the other side of the table was an attorney who happened to be the significant other of that father's son, the ex-spouse. If you're thinking there's a lot of conflicts of interest going on, you're right. There's a whole lot going on.
I don't know if there's a conflict, but you might be a little too close to this.
A little too close to this. And that kind of gets evidenced by what occurred, because the attorney father came in to the depot and at some point in time the deposition shot the 2 on the other side.
Yeah, that is not considered, like, in bird culture, that is considered to be a dick move.
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate circumstance. I couldn't believe it. And oddly enough, I had a deposition the next day. Luckily enough, the depot was at the courthouse, but it was interesting to sharing the fact that I had the depot with Mischief the next day.
Did she have opinions?
It wasn't the easiest conversation. And Linda Shell, you were not alone. Other people reached out and they were like, just make sure you're being safe. Yeah, I am very cautious about how I. Yep. Peggy Reardon, same thing. Yes, I heard about it. I did. Domestic relations litigation is very contentious and emotions run deep. And that's why you try to, when you are an attorney. I don't represent friends. I don't.
This is why I stick to the safe area of criminal defense. You know, because I'd much rather represent, murderers and so forth rather than, people getting divorced. It's way safer.
Part of what you're saying is not true. It can be correct.
It's 100% true.
There's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot. Gwendolyn SS, not enough characters to say what I want. Sorry, that's a member chat. Thank you. Lindsay had Leo do it the first day of daycare. I just showed you. Thank you, Lindsay. Chris Cat Queen, Rob, I'll be your interpreter, but I'll have to learn woodworking terminology in both languages, as long as you don't steal $16 million. And then, put me in the crosshairs of an investigation, whether I was gambling or not. But you can be interpreter. Sensationally Social with Beth. Cold brewed caramel apple tea in Newport News, Virginia. Beautiful place, beautiful area, and glad you're having fun. Torin 3, I enjoyed your Lego stream last week. I may have made a mistake. I'm doing a 2,100 piece kit. Oh my gosh. But the Japanese castle was too good a choice to not do. That's the problem. The Lego set, when you're going, I'm going to order a Lego set. You see the options that are out there and you're like, I want to do all of these. They're so much fun.
You're like, I want to do this. And it's like, okay, this is going to be a project.
Now they come with these actual books. This was a book.
I mean, they've always come with instructions,
but not like a detailed book like that. It was awesome. I had a great time. Equality. Hey, Rob, Ian, it's been a minute. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here, Equality. It has been a minute. Glad to see your name pop in the chat. One of my favorite YouTube handles of all time. Rainman YYC, you should try a Lotto 649, 6 from the left, 4th from the right, 9th from the left. Someone make that make sense.
It's a drink. And basically, well, it's sort of a method of making a drink where you ask them to just like count off the bar to and then
that sounds potentially harmful.
Yeah, it's one of those things that is like, this is not a good idea, and everyone knows it's not a good idea, which is why it's funny, so long as it's happening to someone else.
Yeah, that's fair. Jen K, 1.5 years back from extended family vacay. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back, Jen. Crazy by Proxy, evening all. Happy FNF. Happy Friday. Happy Friday Night Frenzy. Sarah Bellum, here since Step, member for 13 months. My 2 faves. Thank you for being here, Sarah. Much appreciated. And thank you for gifting memberships. Also much appreciated. And then Celine, working on a 20 by 25 cross stitch for a friend. That is a substantial undertaking. So
yeah,
better thee than me. My
no
gosh.
Kidding.
My gosh, indeed. Whiskey 77, thanks for being a member for that long months, 17 months. I can't believe it's been more than 2 years since I've had a YouTube channel. It's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. Okay, so which one? Sports ball or table saws? Come on. Come on.
You know I'm going to pick table saws.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can do the sports ball first and then get to the table saws later.
Chat, what do you guys think? Hang on, I'm going to put a poll up. Ian, while I put a poll up, why don't you tell the chat what I know you're covering that, but I also saw that you potentially have a new Janet thing coming out.
It's minor. I can give a quick summary. Apparently some people are trying to meddle in the Janet case. And so I'm, amongst other things, going to say, don't do that. Don't do that. That's very stupid. But like the courthouse, the judges basically said, please stop sending us emails about this case and letters. So, yeah, I guess the summary is going to be, what the hell are some of you doing? Don't do it. I don't think it's my viewers, but whoever it is, they need to stop.
Emily, internet pigeon business. Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have a status conference that, so we'll have to see on that. So
Ian and I kind of echo the same remark. We are advocating for the responsible coverage of trials in the public media. Very responsible coverage, which means that people that are watching this channel, please, I tell you often, don't engage directly. If you're trying to help the attorneys, you're not helping the attorneys because they're not looking. 2,
and if you see a whole bunch of pigeon crap, the last thing you need to do is get your hands in that. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you know what this needs? I need to touch this. Like, no, do not touch the pigeon crap.
There is one more very brief thing that I wanted to mention because pigeon business actually kind of summarizes it a little bit. Bankman-Fried officially noted his appeal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he officially appealed. So on April 11th, yesterday, he, facing the prospect of spending much of his adult life behind bars, appealed his conviction and a 25-year prison sentence for stealing $8 billion from customers of the now bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange. So yeah, they're going to appeal it.
Okay. Well,
best of luck.
I hope the sentence is overturned. Not in his favor.
Yeah, he faces steep odds. I would say so, considering he testified and spoke at his sentencing. So, and then this part here, the sentence imposed by Kaplan was shorter than the 40 to 50 years that the prosecutors had recommended, but longer than the 5.25 years or fewer. Yeah, reminder, he was recommending like release me now based on time served.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So.
Yeah, no. So he appealed. That'll be going on. We'll track that. If there's any good arguments, we'll cover it. If not, then it'll be what it'll be. Let's see what the people are voting. People, oh my gosh, the chat is divided.
That never happens.
I know. We're going to end the poll in about 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you pause a little bit for the delay because there is a delay. And they just end the poll. Table saw is winning out. So table saw it is. 501 of you voted. 61% said table saw, 38% said baseball. Table saws. Why are table saws now in the news? Let me swoop. So why are table saws in the news? Very interesting. Because where is it? I'm going to go to a story by NPR and I'll pull up the actual release and some of the studies. After years of trying, the U.S. government may finally mandate safer table saws. For those of you that are not woodworkers, a table saw is literally a saw that spins a blade in excess of about 10,000 RPMs outwardly exposed on top of a table. The blade is a fixed blade, and it can cause some damage both to your appendages if they get stuck on top of it, like a finger that goes bye-bye, and in the form of kickback. Don't do that. So this was a story April 2nd. One day about 20 years ago, Tom Nossinger experienced every woodworker's worst nightmare. One final cut on his table saw before knocking off for the day turned into a trip to the ER. It was afternoon and he'd been up in his shop since the morning. Again, that's why people yell at me for being in the shop at night. I try not to do it when I'm tired. Quote, I was a little tired. I should have quit. I ran my hand right into the blade and nearly cut my thumb off. Table saws are widely considered the most dangerous power tool, and approximately 30,000 blade contact injuries require medical treatment each year in the United States. I would dispute the most dangerous power tool thing. I don't know. You know what?
I mean,
exposed blade.
Lathes are pretty bad.
So are routers.
Yeah, routers. A lot of people have router problems.
And they underestimate it because they're looking at like, how can this little thing do so much damage? Because it's going 30,000 RPM. And
then it kicks out and little blade travels across whatever.
Finds a finger.
Yep. I mean, they'll obliterate anything they touch.
Yeah.
I mean,
about 4,000. Yeah, about 4,000 table saw incidents result in amputations that can be career-ending for some professional carpenters and contractors. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says that when a person is hospitalized, the societal cost per table saw injury exceeds $500,000. When this part is kind of that's burying a lot of the lead when you also factor in the loss of income and pain and suffering. So when you talk about societal cost, my head goes to the hospitalization, the bill, the treatment, that stuff. But then you also factor in loss of income and pain and suffering. I kind of would put that in a separate category. I don't want to contribute. Sorry, NPR. Nossinger was lucky by comparison. Although he needed 14 stitches, doctors at the hospital near his home in Raleigh, go Raleigh, and NC State, were able to save his thumb. Reconstructive surgery followed. Even so, all these years later, he still has recurring pain, as one would after running into a table saw. Woodworking has been a nearly lifelong passion for Nossinger, and he was no stranger to power tools. Back before his accident, he'd seen a demonstration of a new and much safer type of table saw at a local woodworking store. Marketed under the name SawStop, it was designed to stop and retract the spinning blade within a few milliseconds of making contact with flesh, fast enough to turn a potential life-changing injury into little more than a scratch.Nossinger's table saw wasn't equipped with the high-tech safety feature. We're going to get to that. Reasons why. Lots of reasons why. Because manufacturers aren't required to include it. There's other reasons why too.
Yeah, there's. Oh, they're going to show the demo with the hot dog. Yes.
Yep. So this is the demo.
So the hot dog is your finger.
Let me slow it down. Settings, speed. Let's go to 0.25 because we're still going to catch it at 0.25. 0.25 speed. This is 0.25 speed. Watch how fast this thing retracts. And gone.
And the hot dog is barely touched.
Yeah. Yeah. The tech is remarkably impressive. Essentially, once that saw blade, there's a passive conduct or passive electrical what am I saying? Current, passive current running through the blade. And once that blade makes contact with something that can carry that, a conductive surface, like for example, your finger or aluminum or metal, the blade triggers an auto brake system, which basically the blade going 10,000 RPMs just boom, catches, and the force of that catch retracts it into the table saw. So it's just gone. It's remarkably impressive. So impressive that SawStop has won a lot of lawsuits defending their patent to that technology. But that may be about to change. The Consumer Product Safety Commission appears poised to mandate this type of safety brake on all new table saws sold in the US. A couple of problems with this.
Are they going to terminate the patent?
Well, it's that and the cost.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. A standard job site table saw. Let me give something that people are probably likely to have seen in the past. If you have ever employed a contractor at any stage, they are likely to have shown up to your job site or to the job site with something like this. Standard job site table saw. This job site table saw is about $300 to $400. Let me see what it's selling for right now.
Yeah, a few $100.
Well, job site saw $500. Yeah. $500 up to $600. Yeah. So that's $500. That saw, while it looks it's bare bones. It's a motor, a switch, and then a couple of gears that move the blade angle. $600. Now imagine that every table saw, even these job site saws that get manufactured, have to now include an entirely new piece of technology. Could be kind of expensive.
Especially if that technology is still under patent.
Yep. This move would follow years of failed efforts and false starts by agency to impose such a standard. Manufacturers have consistently fought a new rule, saying it would raise the price of table saws for consumers. It's not just raising the price of table saws.
It also might put every table saw manufacturer out of business except SawStop. Because if SawStop just decides not to license their patent, then no one else can make table saws.
Yep. Or if, let's say that you raise the price of table saws from that $600 to $1,000, how many people does that put out of the market for doing contracting work, general contracting work? Quite a bit. So the cost of construction, which is already a remarkable cost, goes up. So I can see why manufacturers are fighting this. So safety advocates liken it to airbags in cars and argue that benefits outweigh the costs. I'm going to give kind of a hot take on this. I don't know of a single person in general construction that is advocating for this. None.
You know what I do instead of this? I use, and somebody says, does a SawStop really cost that much? I think the SawStop is like $3,000.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. It's more than that.
Oh yeah, I use little plastic sticks, and if the little plastic stick touches the saw blade, it's like, okay, cool.
Amanda Lang also makes the point. Yes, that brake assembly is about $250.
Yeah,
but it's cheaper than an ER experience.
It is, but they also sometimes go off for reasons that are not what you think.
That's true. Canonical Heat coming in and doing what Canonical Heat always does. Thank you, my friend. Looks at 2234 watching, so 2,234 of you watching. Glances at 719 likes. Has a sad tears will dilute my drink. People, hit the like button, folks. It means a whole lot. Thank you. Please do so. Yeah. And this is, I don't like a lot of this take because I don't think this is a political thing. I really don't. Republicans of the commission have sided with the power of tool industry in opposing further regulation. Administration proponents of the commission appear to have a majority. In October, they voted to move forward on the mandate, which is expected to approval later this year. We've got a proposed rule that's designed to prevent tens of thousands of medically treated table saw injuries per year. That's something that I very much support. I kind of go back to the people in the industry and the cost. If we could make this technology, one, if it was allowed to be made, mass distributed, and it wasn't subject to a patent. Yeah. Two, every company that has tried to make a similar technology has been sued to out of existence almost based on their use of a technology that was patent infringement. So it's a very interesting argument, very interesting debate. And this is one where I actually want to see the breakdown of the people that are advocating for and against. Because I know a lot of people in construction where this improvement or this additional technology would put them out of the construction business. It would be too expensive, especially the general contractor guys, the handymen. I am conflicted. Kid Mudgeon, aren't there gloves that could prevent serious injury? No, gloves are actually one of the most dangerous things you can use in a shop.
Yeah, no, gloves are a bad idea.
Because gloves and drag you in. Your hands are the safest. Like I work barehanded. It's the safest thing you can. Tactile response is so much better.
The thing is let's say you're going real slow, and you hit the blade. You'll jerk your hand back. Now, a lot of people injure themselves going faster than real slow, but let's say you're wearing gloves. Then those gloves, the glove will catch and drag the rest of your hand in and mangle it. The other thing is that even if your gloves were made of like chainmail, the table saw will mess them up, right? The table saw will do the job on that. So yeah. It's gonna mess things up. Also, I got food. Food has arrived. I am super thrilled because food is delicious, or at least this food is hopefully going to be delicious. That said, I always order one thing and I tell them to make it extra, extra, extra spicy, and it's never spicy enough. So I'm thinking I need to go and get, I've got some Carolina Reaper powder in the other room. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to try just a light dusting of that. And when I say a light dusting, I mean like, this is stuff you use in quantities that are basically like, tell the food that it's there by mail, and that's about it. You don't want to use a lot of it because it will, it'll hurt you in the worst ways. So
wait, hang on, I'm seeing something I have to call and celebrate. Here we go.
Oh, congratulations,
J. Michael RN. J. Michael RN is in the chat almost every FNF. because J. Michael RN is working almost every FNF. And just announced that he's celebrating his promotion to clinical nurse. 3. Congratulations, my friend. Way to go. Absolutely amazing. So cool. So glad you did it. So glad you're doing it. I know you've been working towards that promotion for a while. So congratulations. All right. So proponents of this new standard. No, it's not.
Accurate.
Ian pulled up Emily's chat. It's never spicy enough. Emily, I took Ian to a Korean chicken place near me, and Ian ordered the spiciest thing on the menu and was like, I mean, he was sweating his face off, but he goes, I could handle more. This is also a summer reminder to people in the chat. Ian's birthday 2 years ago. Go watch the live stream, the Hot Ones Challenge. It was the most fun and pain I think I've been in a while. It was great. And even that actually hurt you, right? Yes, that hurt you.
Yeah, at the end it was that one had some pain.
Yeah. I can handle spice, not as well as Ian can, but yeah. So proponents say the new standard is long overdue. The former acting chairman says that a standard requiring a table break is long overdue. An average of more than 10 people per day in the US suffer amputations on these types of saws, and that is staggering when you think about it. I'm so thrilled to see it's very likely to occur now. Adler calls the failure to require this type of feature on saws the greatest single frustration I felt while on the commission. It seems like an odd, okay. He says that's because table saws are far and away the most dangerous tool that most Americans ever buy. And I always tell people, like, I saw someone in Woodcraft a while back, and they were looking at routers. And they were asking, they've never used a woodworking tool before, and this was going to be their first power tool. And very rarely do I interject. But I did in this instance, because they were asking the lovely person at the shop, you know, this is going to be and it was a son and a mom. This is going to be my son's first power tool. And the person was like, you could see he was hesitating. And I jumped in and I said, router shouldn't be the first, not the first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one thing if you've got like a plunge router where it, you know, retracts, but the thing that is really bad is if you've got like a router table, those mangle people.
My thing is, every tool is dangerous. Every tool is dangerous. My bandsaw is dangerous. My miter saw is dangerous. My router table is dangerous. My table saw is dangerous. They're all dangerous. And if you go after the technology rather than the education aspect of it, that's the part where I have an issue. I have a problem with that. You cannot make a router fully safe. It's not possible. There's no handbrake on a router. That thing will mess you up. You can't make every tool completely safe. Now you can add features to try and minimize the damage. But the idea that you're going to require that every table saw now have this conductive brake, that's a lot. That's taking an industry, a tool industry, and saying now you have to fly, like you have to take your car and make it a flying vehicle.
Oh, it's going to take some manufacturers out of the market entirely, for sure. The other thing I always wonder about with this sort of thing is, I know some things can set it off as like a false alarm,
like aluminum.
What happens if you have to? What happens if you have to cut certain materials?
Yeah, aluminum.
So, I mean, you wouldn't normally use a table saw for aluminum, right? But
no, but sometimes there's like aluminum trim in what you're cutting. That's where people report it most. Like if they'll have like a table saw sled, like a platform that they put their object on, they're cutting and they secure it down. Let me explain. This is a lot of what you're seeing from this agency that's bothering me right now is people that don't use the tool opining on how they can fix the tool. So that part kind of bugs me to the nth degree. Let's see if I can't show you what a table saw sled looks like. That's a table saw sled. So those little miter gauges there, those are intended to run in the tracks. And you see how that sled allows you to take your hands and put it way far away from the cutting material. Now, a lot of people will put aluminum stops or aluminum tracks on the top so they can measure how far they're cutting. And if that blade happens to touch that aluminum track, like a second, $250 out of your pocket. And people are asking questions. There was one here. Where was it? Isn't that the purpose of the government? Debatable. Yeah, debatable.
So for a whole thing of food, I'm starting with this much Carolina Reaper powder.
Oh, and if you guys like woodworking material, Blacktail Studio, great channel to follow. He's a YouTube channel. Every one of his videos gets over 1 million views. Phenomenal. But he does a SawStop tutorial, and at least on one of his videos, it trips it by accident. So $300, $250 right there.
Well, and not only that, but also a day of work, because you got to get all that, or more, like you got to get all that replaced and repaired and whatever else. It takes your tool out of commission. And, you know, if this is going off by accident, that's expensive.
I just saw Wendy. Wendy.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for the remarkably generous super chat. Wendy, you were, correct me if I'm wrong, you were there. You were actually hosting the MLS Lego stream. Thank you, Robin Runkle, for supporting MLS, Lego, Law, God, etc., etc. Wendy, there's no thanks necessary. Honestly, I thought that was a great concept because it allowed the interview in the most fun fashion to just take place in a very comfortable environment where I'm not hosting or having to be on. I'm just answering questions. It was probably one of the most fun times I've had on the internet. So there's no need to thank like that, but thank you very much for that contribution. SawStop's competitors are represented by Power Tool Institute, the trade group that includes big power tool makers such as Bosch, DeWalt, and Milwaukee.
Big Power Tool. It's a conspiracy by Big Power Tool to cost you fingers.
This is the part we're getting to. The group maintains that the new safety rule will be an overreach because these big power tool makers, Bosch, they've made a tool that tried to implement similar technology, hit with a lawsuit, taken down. DeWalt and Milwaukee have played with the idea. None of them have gone up against SawStop because that patent is there. So, quote, small manufacturers may go out of business. Yeah, I imagine they would. That was from Susan Orenga, the Power Tool Institute's executive manager, that set a public hearing on the new rule in February, requiring the safety brake would raise the cost. Go ahead.
I've seen some people in chat saying that that SawStop would release the patent if you know, if this was approved.
Caveat. Go ahead.
So what I'd be saying might be an idea is, okay, either the legal rule needs to include that that the patent be be surrendered, or just to say something like this will go into effect 2 years after the patent expires. And so if they clear the patent, then it goes into effect 2 years after that. Otherwise, if they just go like, we tricked you, because businesses promise things to get things from government all the time. You know how many times like people, like businesses are like, oh, if, we need to get this millions of dollars or else we'll close this plant. And then the government in the area is like, oh, we don't want them to close this factory. Here's the millions of dollars. And they're like, thank you. We're closing the plant. It happens all the time. So, yeah.
So it's not just them releasing the patent. I'll get to that article because that was covered. SawStop pledged to allow manufacturers to produce safer saws regardless of those patents. I have a lot of questions about that pledge. So an entry-level SawStop retails for $900. Entry level. That's no freaking joke. There's the SawStop. Their system is great. It's phenomenal. I have no doubts. So SawStop, let me see if I can't find the actual article. This was the opinion. This was released March 6th. And this was in response to this congressional hearing. Last week, SawStop made an announcement that reignited a long-running conversation. In response to rulemaking, where CPSC goes, we're going to require this. The company said it would, quote, dedicate, end quote, U.S. Patent 9724840, better known as the SawStop 840 patent, to the public. This design stops a blade from spinning the second it makes contact with the flesh, triggered by conductivity. A couple of reasons why they would do this here. We'll get to that. The cynical part of me is screaming. But for years, they've fiercely guarded its patent through aggressive lawsuits, very aggressive lawsuits. In doing so, it's quashed almost every attempt by competitors to develop safety measures, no matter how remotely similar. Therefore, consumer advocates have accused SawStop of using the 840 patent as a tool to protect the digits in its profits, not on users' hands. Nice tagline. Oh no, I can't hear you because hang on. I'm guaranteeing that people can hear you, but I just can't. Because it did this to me last time and it drove me really mad. So hang on, let me try to reconnect my
chat.
I've been talking this whole time.
I've been having no end of problems with my mic.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's my mic keeps
well, it wasn't me this time. It wasn't me
not
this
you.
time.
It's not you. Yeah. I may have to go and get or try to improvise a solution here.
So that's a nice line though. They've used the patent to protect the digits and its profits and not on users' hands. I like that. Most recently, that seems to have come to a head with the embattled company's February 28th testimony before the CPSC. Based on the history of litigation, the public's response has been lukewarm at best. Yeah, like I take your promise at face value. If you're familiar,
make it legally binding and we'll talk.
Yeah, like actually release it. Sign the paperwork. And by release, I mean release. Don't license, because what I think they're talking about is they will gladly license it to other people, which I don't think that's what these people are talking. I don't think that's what they intend.
Yeah, at that point, it's just we will gladly make hojillions of dollars off of this. And our lobbyists are nonstop talking about how dangerous these are if you don't use our specific technology.
Yeah, like this. If you're familiar with the timeline, you probably know that SawStop is no stranger to patent litigation. In fact, Stephen Gass, the inventor of the technology behind the patent, is a patent lawyer. No way. No way. There's no way you're telling me that's true. Initially, he pursued legislation to mandate the active injury mitigation system, AIM system, like the technology behind SawStop's patent. This would, in effect, require competitors to license the company's design for any of their table saws. You mean the patent lawyer was advocating that you create a law that forces people to use his patented technology? No. Oh,
I'm shocked and appalled that you would even suggest such a thing, Rob.
This is the Bosch React system. This is the one that got sued. Long story short, other tool makers like Bosch attempted to add safety mechanisms to their equipment, the React's table saw, but SawStop filed suit, halting that model's production. No. CPSC targets SawStop's patent, The position that many in the industry and some of the CPSC have taken is that SawStop has been trying to monopolize the table saw industry. Yeah, that's what when you own the patent and you're advocating for laws that say you have to use my patented material or my patented product, that's creating a monopoly. For example, among their lawsuits was an antitrust claim that they filed against several manufacturers, including Bosch. According to a February 1st, 2024 comment that Bosch submitted to CPSC, SawStop alleged that its competitors conspired not to license the technology, creating a monopoly in the process, but Bosch cites the lawsuit as evidence that the logic is the other way around. CPSC agrees. They initiated an investigation into the proposed AIM performance standard requirement, and they wanted to know whether SawStop had agreed to license the 840 patent on fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms. Yeah, that part. In other words, how would the market fare in the wake of GAS's suggested mandate? Crumble. Based on the analysis by CPSC economists, the proposed AIM rule would seriously disrupt the table saw market. In a letter to Gas and Matt Howard, CEO of SawStop's owner, TTS, they concluded that, quote, the requirement of AIM technology in table saws almost certainly would result in most firms licensing the patent from SawStop. This could grant a large amount of market power in the licensing of AIM technology. Firms would then have to spend additional money for licensing along with the installation of the technology. While most firms would likely continue production by licensing AIM technology, some firms would likely drop out of the market altogether. And then the financial consequences just like kind of steamroll after that. On February 28th, Howard, the benevolent CEO, Howard, testified before the CPSC. In a nutshell, his position was the competition was biting them for being ahead of the curve. Moreover, he stated that the company had a right to profit from its innovation. Fair. That's fair. The following day, Pro Tool Reviews attended a press conference during which Howard essentially doubled down on his stance. In particular, he aimed at various members of the commission who accused TTS of rent-seeking behavior. I would say that advocating for a law that requires people to use your shit is rent-seeking behavior.
Yep.
Ultimately, it all comes down to how SawStop's long-standing position colors its sudden decision to dedicate. I don't like this word dedicate. I don't like it. Why are you using it? I don't like it.
It really depends on what they mean here, right?
Plus, if SawStop is seeing the writing on the wall, they already know that if they open the patent up, it's going to be, 2 years before anyone comes out with a product that's going to compete?
That's exactly it. That's why I was saying that they need to put a thing saying after the patent is up that there's a 2-year window to allow other people to have time to develop products that'll that do that. And it should be that it's not like licensed. It should be like, if we do this, it's contingent on when the patent expires, not when it's available for license, when it's available for anybody. And otherwise, you're just basically taking this one guy and making him super wealthy, but you're making him super wealthy at the expense of the public. And I just want, lots of people, lots of people right now are concerned in Canada and I think also the US with the cost of housing. Well, how do you think that goes if you give one company a monopoly on table saws?
Housing, renovation, construction in general, all of it. And Katja, apart from Bosch, maybe Bosch has got to be the most pissed off person in the room right now, because they went out and made it, and they actually, I think, had a bona fide claim. They didn't really copy the patent, the implemented aspects of it. I think they had a good case-ish, but SawStop, I mean, he's a patent attorney. The dude who invented the product is a patent attorney. Of course, he's going to know how to fight it. Now, this gets back to my other question about, do we need this? And the CPSC kind of gets back to something that I was driving me nuts. So there are other industry objections as well. Orenga notes that manufacturers already comply with a voluntary standard requiring blade guards and anti-kickback features designed to prevent a blade from catching a piece of wood and throwing it violently back at the operator. Let me explain what kickback is, because I actually have this experience real hand, and that's why I have the table saw I have downstairs. I used to have one of those DeWalt like workshop or worksite saws, and the fence, the thing that's supposed to align the wood piece to the blade.
I was gonna say, Rob, you're gonna need to dumb it down.
Yeah, hang on. Let me do this. Where's that DeWalt saw? Okay. The fence, which is this, if you can see the mouse, this piece there, that little aluminum piece there, that is meant to align the wood piece with the blade. Because if you take straight cut into the blade, no twisty, no nothing, blade cuts, no problem. But the second that wood becomes out of alignment, the blade stops cutting and it starts lifting the wood because the blade's coming back this way. So if the wood twists or if the wood is off alignment, the blade lifts the wood up, and when it lifts the wood and it gets high enough, now you have a little like belt that's going to throw this thing back at you at whatever 1,000 RPMs it's running at. And I was in the shop one night.
You've got a projectile.
You have a projectile. I was in the shop one night and I was cutting a piece of plywood on my old DeWalt saw. And my little aluminum fence that was this tiny little thing right there was a little off of square. And cutting that piece of plywood, this thing shot back into my stomach so hard that it kicked me off my feet in the shop at 10:30 at night. So
this is why I keep yelling at you to put your safety glasses on.
That wasn't safety glasses, Ian.
No, but if it had aimed towards your face.
Yeah, but it hit me in the, well, that's a bad excuse. I said it was going to hit me in the stomach. But that's why I ended up getting this saw, because you see this saw at the fence, I can align the wood way before it hits the blade and square it up before it hits the blade. And it has this lovely little thing there. You see that blade guard? That's supposed to protect you. The DeWalt has it too. Those are
my table saw does not have that.
Because arguably you should not be able to run your hand into the saw blade if that guard is on.
And at least you'd feel it. Like you'd feel the guard.
Most woodworkers don't operate with the guard. Flimsy, poorly functioning guards don't help. But according to CPSC, it's common for table saw users to remove the blade guards. I just said that. Often for reasons of improved visibility, which also is improved safety. Double-edged sword. In other words, because they can't easily see the cut they're trying to make, or because they can't see where the wood is in relation to that cut, or their hands are in relation to that cut. As a result, CPSC says it's been no discernible change in the number of blade contact injuries since the industry adopted a voluntary requirement, improved blade guards, and other safety features in 2010. In short, the voluntary standard doesn't adequately reduce the risk of injury. Yeah. Jim Hamilton here would get along well with Ian. Jim Hamilton, who hosts a popular woodworking channel on YouTube. What's the channel? Hang on. Channel is Hover. Oh, Stumpy Nubs. It's a good channel. Really good channel. Him. Very good channel. Cool. Good content. Very good content. So he says that most table saw injuries could be prevented if woodworkers consistently used a blade guard. Sadly, a culture has developed around many power tools, including table saws, that suggest safety devices are unnecessary or obstructive. I told you to get along well with him. He says, noting that even veteran woodworkers, including those who have worked at the highest levels of their trade, are seriously injured every day. This is your spirit animal.
I mean, you need good guards, right? A guard makes sense. So,
and this was the
wait.
Did you see that? You just saw that, didn't you?
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah. What?
This is why you don't wear gloves.
Whoever made the point about the gloves. This is a story about a surgeon who had been operating a table saw when his glove caught the saw blade, and the glove pulled in his hand. Yeah. So, interesting debate happening. I see both sides of this. I think that one of the problems that you're running into is that the construction industry right now is already facing probably some of the highest costs for construction that we've ever seen. Plus, we don't have a lot of people that are trained as carpenters. So you've got a problem in that you have a need for these carpenters, like an immense need for carpenters. And their tools of the trade are part of what they need to do their job. We have a shortfall of people that can do the work. Try building anything these days. Costs you 10 times more than it did 5 years ago. So you have this need. And at the same time that you have this need, you're going to introduce a requirement that manufacturers increase the cost of their product twofold, thereby taking the people that are entering that market and removing them from the market. That's why I go back to like the education and the training part. And I feel like this is it'd be cool to have saws that could do this. But I'll tell you this, if CPSC is going to pass a rule that says that every saw has to have this technology, they better give them at least 10 years to do it.
When the thing is if the patent is still in effect and still licensed, and there's still licensing, this is just basically a tremendous transfer of wealth from whoever needs carpenters, because ultimately those costs get passed down to the consumer. So people who want to live in houses, people who want to any of those things, to SawStop. That is not great. But if they do if they do cancel the patent and put it into the public domain, great. Then you'll see the price of these SawStop devices and similar devices diminishing greatly over time. So, I mean, if they put their money where their mouth is, cool.
Yeah, but it's not a I don't like the dedicated part. I hate the dedicated. Like we dedicate it. We're going to dedicate the patent. What does that mean?
It feels a little like pledge. And I think that I would very much want to have that. I'd want to have that like firmly in place with some sort of binding, thing.
So let's build and price our SawStop. This is SawStop. By the way, these are people that own the patent. Now, if SawStop released the patent, the cost of this technology would go down substantially. It would. But
absolutely.
They would have to release it. Industrial cabinet saw, beginning cost, $4,715. Professional cabinet saw, which is like what I have downstairs in my shop, but not the SawStop, $2,849. My saw is probably $1,300 total. The contractor saw, this is for your everyday contractor. Beginning cost $2,000.
It's really pushing those costs up.
The job site saw that we saw, $1,600. And the compact table saw, which looks like that DeWalt I pulled up, the DeWalt that was $549, $899. Starting at. So yeah, I've got some concern about like some of this. Like I like the technology, I love it. I would love to own a SawStop. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a freaking amazing product. It's phenomenal. Holy shit, is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It is wild. Okay, catch up on some relevant super chats, and then we'll move on to the next story. Let's see. Crazy Cat Queen. Rob, did you see the person in Vietnam who defrauded $22 billion worth got the, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Got the death penalty. SBF should be grateful. That's people criticize the US system as being harsh. Megan Bragg didn't get the ball out of the way already. We'll get there. So Celebrial working on a 61 by 20 diamond art piece, very relaxing. I have found that type of art very cool to watch. I don't have the patience for it though, but it's very neat. Gina D, happy to see you too. Love from Jacksonville. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Leandra, can we do a group watch of Corey's video when Pixie posts it? Maybe a members only. I haven't seen it. I'll text Pixie. Maybe it's possible.
It's always better if you can watch it on her channel.
Yeah,
I want that gives her the views, right?
Yeah, give her the views. If I were to host it, she gets one view for me hosting it. I would rather just be there in chat, encouraging all of you to do that, or be there in the comments, or publicize it beforehand. Melanie Ann plans. My husband and I asked if I could put EDB or Runkle on. Oh, sorry. My husband asked if I could put EDB or Runkle on. I said that Runkle will be on Rob's channel for FNF. He said that works. Yeah. Good hubby, and thank you. Crazy Cat Queen. Rob, I have a hard time not giving money away. That's why I still live in a double. Come on, Crazy Cat Queen. Spend the money on you, please. Multiple exes and friends that technically owe me 5 digits, but you know how it is. Gifts don't lend. Gift don't lend. Yeah, don't lend. Gift. I give stuff away. And Crazy Cat Queen, you've got something coming to you, by the way. A good thing, not a bad thing. Aaron Olivia, 20 months already. Thanks for the support for MLS. Thank you, Aaron Olivia, and I'm always happy to do it. Leandra, thanks for becoming a member. Canonical Heat, thank you for gifting 20 memberships. My gosh, Canonical Heat. Kristen M96, Murdoch filed an appeal too for the no retrial. I saw that. I don't know that that's really going very far. Pants,
he can
sorry,
try.
I'm late. He can try. Sorry, I'm late. See you in Nashville. If all goes according to plan, you will. At the end of the month of May. Canonical Heat, thank you for the $50 super chat. Very generous of you. Very generous of you. I appreciate the hell out of you for doing all of this every time. I do. Don't feel the need to. I'm very happy with everyone that's in the chat, and they're doing amazing stuff. Canonical Heat for 50 says you could do those YouTubey things, you know you want to, and you want to appreciate the magnificent mods. Yes, you do. You very much do want to appreciate the mods. Much appreciated. Thank you, Canonical Heat, for continuing to make all of the gifted memberships reign and for being a very wonderful member of the channel. Amy T, my first non-work trip to Chicago. Sorry, first night out. I'll have to catch most on replay. We're going to Drunk Shakespeare and Drinks with Friends. Try the Malort. Just try it. Like one time.
Or don't.
And then report back.
Or don't.
Or do. Just try it. It's not going to kill you. I tried
it
Red
might.
Wine and Coke. No.
It's true, but Malort is worse than that.
I mean, it can start a lawnmower.
It could stop a lawnmower.
Joy W101. Yeah, I've seen the aftermath of table saw injuries. They're not pretty. No, they're not. I will agree with that. Midnight L 2008. My dad cut his thumb off and severed the nerves in his pointer finger with a table saw while building a tree house when I was a kid. Those blades are no joke. They're no joke. I have known people personally who have been injured by a table saw. And every person I've known that's come into contact with a table saw, either scare or injury, there's a whole lot of, let me put it this way. When you're operating a vehicle, you know that you shouldn't be texting while driving, or have your phone up while driving, or looking in the back seat, or doing makeup, whatever you're doing. You know you shouldn't do it. You know it's not safe, but a lot of people do. And in that instant, when you are not observing the safety protocol for safe operation of your motor vehicle, you can cause significant injury to yourself or others. That is a lot of user error. Now, we hold you accountable for that action, largely because you cause injury to other people. But are we now going to require vehicles to disable your phone when you get in? Are we going to create vehicles that are a Faraday bag? Like when you get in the car, the phone stops working?
And I know some people will think that's a great idea. And I'll tell you a story that counters that. So I had a file where I was defending the bad guy in this story, just because that's what you do in criminal defense, is usually you're defending the bad guy. But so, but he was not being particularly nice to his spouse in the kind of way that gets you criminal charges. I'm not going to go into like details there, but he was being the bad guy. And she had the presence of mind to get on her cell phone and dial 911 and stick her phone in her pocket. So she's not talking to the 911 operator, but the 911 operator, of course, is hearing what is going down.
Yeah.
And is like, and she is describing, like she's talking to this guy and she's mentioning places they are passing so that the operator can hopefully figure out where they are, which eventually they do.
Kind of like the ordering a pizza trick.
Yeah. And I'm going, if you prevent the phone from operating there, well, what happens, right? Like, in that case, she's unable to call for help. I don't like that. So, yeah, I
just feel like,
and the other thing is,
go ahead.
I always use my phone for, for navigation. And what I mean is before I operate the car, I set the phone to like, here's where I want to go. And I connect it to the radio via Bluetooth. And then I just put it in my pocket so I'm not looking at it. And it just tells me where I'm going. That is also an entirely reasonable thing, right? And yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
Well, so my point on this one is we covered a story that was FAFO at the beginning of this, and it was a different type of thing, but personal accountability. I do something stupid and I stub my toe or I shut my hand in a door. I'm not paying attention. How many people have done that? Like you haven't been paying attention, you shut your hand in a car door or in a door when you're trying to bring groceries in.
Yeah.
And when you've done it, you're like, that was on me. That was my fault. It was my fault. Vehicles, we require a certain amount of accountability. Why have we kind of lost that when it comes to everything else? Like, because the other part about this one is, like I said before, you're playing this balancing act of everyone in the market. Everyone is acknowledging how costly it is to find labor and contractors and how costly it is to build homes. In the US, we have a housing shortage. Canada, you guys do too.
Yep.
The cost of building a home is through the roof. How much are we going to do to kind of minimize personal accountability to increase that further cost? It drives me nuts.
those prices that you quoted, if SawStop becomes mandatory, those prices are going up.
Oh yeah. Because now Bosch isn't going to advertise that saw for 500. No, now it has a new safety feature. It's going to 7. SawStop is going to be the innovator in the market. They'll go to 10. They'll go to 1,000. Yeah. We're at this place where I understand reasonable regulation. I very much do. This feels like a whole lot of micro and not actually looking at the actual problem. The actual problem being the education part.
Yeah.
People are free to disagree. That's just my opinion. That's where I come down on this discussion. I don't like the idea of mandating it. I like the idea of the patent being released. That'd be great. Let them compete. I love that. Give me that all day.
I mean, if you're going to mandate it, you also have to make sure that the patent is not just like licensed, but just open, right? Because otherwise they can just choose to not license it or to license it at ridiculous terms. Like, hey, you can use this. It will cost you $60,000 per unit for the license.
I wasn't born to be thorns. No, they don't need a new saw every month or every year, but every new carpenter is going to be acquiring a saw. And the saws do get replaced actually within about 5 years. And not just
that, the other thing,
if they mandate it and then the replacement parts for the existing saws are going out, you're not going to find those anymore.
Yeah, and they'll say something like it's got to be at least 10,000 for each replacement saw unit.
It's going to be an interesting debate.
Like,
it's going to be really difficult to. I'm going to have a challenge with this one. Midnight. I saw. I knew you meant cut. Thank you. Stir Crazy. Thank you. Rob, Runkle, and Emily. Have you thought about covering Clayton Eckerd versus JD? We need more lawyers to cover this story. Thanks for all you do. I've seen random reportings on it. I'm
digging through the documents. So I'm hoping to get something out this weekend, but yes.
J. Michael RN, 50 gifted memberships. J. Michael RN, we are supposed to be celebrating you, my friend, for that promotion. You're not supposed to, well, I mean, you wanted to kind of join and make the community bigger. You're awesome for doing so. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. And congratulations again. Trace Fagan, you can only make the break one. You can only make the break one way. Yeah, it only happens one time. The break only works one time. The force let me tell you how that break works. It shoves a piece of aluminum up into that saw and that blade, and it shatters that piece of aluminum.
They're saying that there's no other way to make this technology. Like, you couldn't develop an alternate safety technology. The thing is that this actually covers this, like the sensor and the idea of the blade retracting or the blade stopping or anything like that. So, yeah.
And then if it was just a break and it didn't retract, actually, I think they did original studies where if it was just a blade and it didn't retract, that retraction takes the radius of the blade and pulls it down so that where the outside radius was still hitting the finger, as it comes down, the contact is less and less.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant invention. Rain Man YBC, they'll make it impossible to pursue woodworking as a hobby. It'll be exclusive to professionals. Probably. Just because, wouldn't this be better for a high school class? Oh yeah. High schools, you have a saw stop. Absolutely. You know what? If we're talking about putting saw stops in high school classes, yep.
High school classes are an excellent place to put it. The problem is that the high school classes are going to be real. Here's the flip side of that. The high school classes will end up being super expensive because the instant the students learn that it's $250 every time they trigger it,
they're going to
just touch a finger to the side of it just to or bring in a hot dog and triggered it again.
Yep, as a joke.
Yeah, because it's funny, right? So, yeah.
Wendy H, thanks for becoming a member. Thank you for the other gift super chat as well. Sarah Bellum, as a Nova girl, I can proudly say we have some of the best Korean barbecue, especially in Annandale. Rob, please take Runkle to Yechon. We have tons of Korean barbecue around here. It's phenomenal. The food in the Northern Virginia area is amazing. I tried to share some of that with Ian when he was here. Sir Merrick, they don't require safeties on guns.
Just about every gun you will buy has several safeties. It's rare that you get a gun that has no safeties on it. The thing is like even the Glock handguns, which have no manual safety,
internal safety. That's what I have.
They have like grip safeties. They have trigger safeties. Too. On an NPR interview, the CEO of SawStop said he would not pursue licensor litigation for patent 840 if it were standardized as a requirement. Cool. Then get him to surrender the patent. If he's not surrendering the patent, then it ain't like, yeah. Torrent 3 says MLS God of Law channel just hit 600 subs. Here's hoping that he keeps going. I do not buy. Oh, that one's going to be for the next one, so we'll just have to see this. Did SawStop pledge or donate? Just asking. Right now, it seems to be a pledge and not a formal anything. So yeah. Boppet says my table saw is not broke. I'm not getting a new one anytime soon. I'm going to say just because of the nature of irony, I am not going to be using my table saw for a while.
Why?
Because
what'd you do?
Oh, just because after having talked about all of this, it would be terrible irony if I were to injure myself. And I'm just like, the universe is not kind in those kinds of ways. So I'm just like, I'm just not doing it because, yeah, I would be tempting fate.
Did I tell you the story about when I made a pen with Mini-Mischief too?
You did not.
I'll tell you that in a second. That'll be a good transition. The world wonders. Longtime viewers of both channels likely have particularly skeptical relationships with the word pledge. Yeah, like dedicate. I don't like that word. I don't know why. It bothers me. The world wonders they're going to pledge their patent, not donate it.
I mean, this is the thing is there's ways to nail this down. And until I actually see those steps, I am all the skeptical.
Elise Charlene, fine art. 900 is not bad. My Prixie Lightfast markers this week. Pantone markers. I don't know these terms. Hang
on. This is art supplies. Art supplies you pay through the nose for.
Pantone markers are $4.99 for a half set of 54 markers.
Oh man, go into an art supplies store sometime. You would be shocked at what stuff costs.
I just pulled it up. Oh my gosh, $460,
right?
Whoa!
So
7,000.
Chat has Rob has just learned what art supplies cost. Chat.
I mean, I know what materials cost and other stuff. Like the resin I use, the epoxy I use is like $700 for the larger kits. Shall see. So this whole thing seems to be a workaround to have a monopoly. No, not really. It's kind of seeing the writing on the wall. Like,
it still feels like that to me.
I mean, CEOs, one, he said, make the law to make them license my stuff. And then they said, well, what if we just don't do that, but we say that stuff has to be public? And the CEO goes, okay, I'll dedicate it, but I'm not going to tell you how. Like, it feels like he was backed into a corner a little bit of his own making. So we'll see. Becky, thanks for becoming a member. LJ Peach, is dedicate synonymous with pledge? It felt like it in the moment. It really did. Melissa, thank you. I use a Sawzall duct taped to a card table. My word. as far as things are concerned that are not legal advice, this is up there.
I'm pretty sure that's a joke.
Oh no, it better be. It better be, Melissa. Otherwise, we got words. Not good.
Angry words?
Very. Jody, all good. Love this channel. You two are together the best. Thank you. January Garnet. My dad was a professional carpenter. He was also left-handed. Many safety guards features made tools left safe for him. Yes, including what I think is the most dangerous tool. Oh gosh, why am I blanking on it right now? Delta made it. Big saw would come and pull out at angles. It was a precursor to a miter saw, not the unisaw. You see them on sale all the time, like Facebook Marketplace. Chat's gonna get it in a second. What the hell is this thing called? No. Why am I struggling? Radial arm saw. Yeah. Radial and the shopsmith. Yeah, the radial arm saw and the shopsmith. Notoriously dangerous for left-handeds. Notorious, because there was no guard. And if you were left-handed, you had your hand in the cutting path on every cut. That's why the new saws, at least you can put the fence on either side. Melissa S., can they create saw tech to have an on and off switch? We have on and off switches. We have emergency switches. We have all the things. We just have to remember how to use them. That's where the training goes in. Susan Ferry, I've been waiting for FNF the entire week just to be an hour for no reason. Misbehaving might be happening. Oh no. What are you doing, Susan? Brian Ellman, I'm spreading managed democracy while listening to you guys. You will never destroy our way of life. Okay, Brian. You spread. I don't
know what managed democracy is.
Democracy. Cute picture, though. I like the cat. Canonical Heat. I do what I want. Ha. Yeah, you do. Canonical Heat all the time. Chucks B01 sent you something. Hope you like it. Thank you, Chucks. I'll take a look. Do my best. Rosebud, thank you for the gifted memberships. Much appreciated. MLS. Every male in the family is missing a part of a finger except my father and me. Well, you lucked out, MLS. I'm glad to see you here in the chat. Did I summon you by saying that people should go subscribe to your channel? Because they should. You know what you have to do to get them to subscribe? Put up the interview. The one where I made the up thingy. The up Legos. That was a great interview. I had a lot of fun doing that. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for being here, friend. Much appreciated, David. SF, standard transmissions would help reduce texting while driving. Bring back fun driving cars. Agreed. Bring back standard transmission.
Standard transmission at this point is pretty much worse in every respect.
No, I know, but it's still fun.
Fair.
Plus, you never know. Like you get stuck in a car that's manual. You don't want to be sitting there going, how do I work this thing? Conacy. Can't believe it's only been a month. Thanks for all the interesting perspectives. Very much appreciated. I'm glad you enjoy the perspectives. We try to cover a lot. Melissa, thank you very much. Lack of safety in the workshop can quickly turn a woodworking project into a fluid art painting. Well, that is Melissa's coming in hot. Go make something safely. I endorse that last phrase. Go make something safely.
I got to get into the leather workshop.
You do. You and I have both been out of the shop for a while. I haven't seen anything you've made. You haven't seen anything I've made in a long time.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to do like a member stream or something just to get myself into the shop. I need to make a replacement Zora collar at some point in the not too distant future because that little jerk destroyed the. I made a really nice collar for her, and she just nuked it in like 0 seconds.
She loved it. She loved it that much. That's how she expressed her love.
Well,
that's how she expressed her love. Yeah. I put that on you. I put that on you. You chose wimpy leather. You know damn well you chose wimpy leather.
I did choose wimpy leather because I thought it would be sufficient because she's a small dog.
You chose wimpy leather against the animal that is the come on.
I didn't know she was the destroyer of cords at that point. I chose to make something very, very nice. And she just yeah, maybe I'll try to make something similarly nice, but in much thicker leather. Yeah.
Morgan, I was hit by a semi at a stoplight by a trucker on his phone. Didn't touch his brakes. Wow. I'm really sorry. That's a scary incident. That's one idiot, and the government doesn't need to keep me safe. Can't keep everyone safe all the time. It's not possible. Just Sarah. So should I not follow my ADHD back into woodworking and buy a table saw this weekend? Table saws, do your research, buy the right table saw. Honestly, and spend the money.
You can buy little plastic pusher sticks.
Oh, or you can
use them. Or you can make them out of wood.
Scrap wood.
Use them, because I can tell you at one point I was not paying attention. Something else was going wrong, and I was, doing the thing, and then suddenly my pusher stick just vanished out of my hand.
That's happened to me. And I was like, absolutely happened to me.
Good. Excellent. Because that pusher stick is not my hand, and I'm just like off. And yeah.
Side note, how scary is that?
It was one of those moments where initially I had a second of like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, right. That just yeeted, like that just eliminated. And yeah. So
and you lean over and you turn off all the stuff and you said, we're done for today. And you walk out.
We're done. This is it for now.
Your heart goes from like 0 to infinity in like 2 seconds.
Yep.
It's a scary thing.
Yep.
Bop it. Hey, I drive a standard. No dissing. I have driven a 3-speed goat. It's a 1965 Jeep.
I thought you were going to say that you'd driven an actual goat.
No, I haven't done that.
And then I was going to be like, we need Valhalla awaits here.
I think, that's probably true. I think people need to learn how to drive stick shift. I think it's a requirement. I think that I'm going to enjoy teaching the Mini-Mischiefs how to drive stick shift and shaming them when they fail.
Now, here's the thing.
Like that's a rite of passage.
Stick shift is less and less every year. And in fact, we're already at the point where if you want a stick shift, it's going to be harder and harder to find them. Similarly, as you get like electric vehicles, like you may have less stick shift and more, other things. So I don't know. This kind of feels like I need to teach my kid to ride a horse.
You got to plan for the end of the world. You have to have this plan in place, man. You can't be sitting there going, I don't know what to do when that day comes. And when the only vehicles that are out there are not the electronic vehicles. Like you got to be able to drive this stuff.
I mean, the thing is if the end of the world happened now, you wouldn't be finding stick shifts. You'd be finding like
No, I'm taking a dirt bike.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get like a folding
or an ATV.
Like a little portable bike, portable electric bike or portable gas bike.
Gas.
Yeah.
You can retrofit gas.
Yeah, I would love to get one. I don't own one right now, but all of these things are expensive. So
that's fair. Hey, I'm trying to find goat. And goat has a name because goat was my grandfather's. Goat is awesome.
And actually, yeah, the horses would actually be a better thing for the end of the world.
Yeah. But that means you have to actually. The other part about that is animal husbandry has to come back as a major that people take now more. Livestock, agricultural. I don't understand why everyone wants to go to college to get these degrees in business and finance and economics and all this other stuff. But we have a lot of
You're less likely to get kicked by a horse in business class.
Okay. Why do I care?
Because getting kicked by a horse really sucks.
Hang on. I got goat.
Also, this is a good question. Does Leo need a collar?
Wait until he's full grown.
Fair. But then we can make that happen.
Yeah,
and we'll make it out of the biggest, toughest leather possible.
Yeah, he's too little right now.
Zora.
So this is goat.
There we go.
Yeah, that's goat. It's me and my sister driving around goat. Those are the vehicles you need to learn how to drive. God. It's my grandfather's car. It's phenomenal. No power steering.
I'm just surprised it runs like any direction except downhill.
Dude, my grandfather was awesome. The man could make anything work.
Yeah, that thing looks like it predates predates rust paint.
Well, yeah, probably. Carrot still runs like a champ. Alan Muller, speaking of manual transmission, remember the beep beep song, The Playmates? I don't, but I'm sure I'm probably gonna look that up after the stream, and I'm gonna be mad at you for doing that. Nancy Robbins, good evening, all. Typical jump into the convo late. Happy Friday. Hope again. Only got 4 days this time. Hospitalization is rough. I hope you're doing okay. Cheers, Nancy.
Cheers. Also for the people who think that having a standard transmission is an anti-theft device, I will tell you, criminals will still try to steal your standard transmission vehicle.
Yeah, and shred the gears while they're doing it.
They'll just cause tremendous damage in the process.
Buy clutch,
there's a lot of people
buy gears, buy transmission.
Yeah, and if it's an old car, it's just and it's written off. Transmission's gone.
Tracy Fagan, we can cripple an entire generation by switching to cursive and driving stick. That is a fair analysis. That is probably completely accurate. Nancy
you know
Robbins,
how to use a button hook?
No. I can learn. I like learning. Nancy Robbins, thanks for the gifted memberships. Much appreciated. Glad that you're out of the hospital and doing well. Morgan, Ari the Semi. He hit 6 of us. First me, then 5 other vehicles. Ooh. Holy crap. God was there because no one even needed an ambulance. That's a quick guardian angel. It's a very fast guardian angel. Wow. I'm really glad that happened and you guys were all able to walk away. What a story. That's scary. Christina, I work alone most nights and you guys always keep me company. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christina. I'm glad you're here. Happy to keep you company while you're working. Jackie Lind, I love stick shift, but it doesn't make sense for EVs. There are other transmissions that work better for EVs. Yeah, I know. That was the point Ian was making, effective or efficiency wise. Yeah, I get it. It's a good point. Ian Paler, first ride in manual was 95 YJ, second a 911. Oh my gosh. You went from the 95 YJ to a 911? It's a Porsche 911, Ian.
Oh, I okay. You know the other thing that that kind of annoys me? You know the continuously variable transmission?
Yeah. There's no sound.
Well, the thing is that it shouldn't have sound because it should always be tuned to the optimal thing, right? And because it's continuously variable. The problem is that people are used to driving things like automatic transmissions that gear up and gear down, and they like feeling that. And so people actually ask, they've modified the continuously variable transmissions to do that, which actually makes them worse. It's like, why?
Yeah. But Ian Paler, I'm jealous. / like that's terrible. Chris Cat Queen, Rob, what was your family alligator's name? I don't know. Oh, that was Fred, the alligator. Yes, my family had a pet alligator. Great story. Other streams, we'll talk about that. Melissa, driving stick does cut down on texting, but increases vaping. I have a WRX, fun car. I can joke about stereotypes. Driving stick makes you part of the machine. That's a fun. WRX is a fun car. SF, thought you meant a GTO. Was so jealous. Nope, I meant goat. Captain Trout, Mischief Manager. It's time to teach the Mischiefs how to drive a stick. Then they can laugh at Rob when they drive it perfect the first time. That gets to this next point. Lindsay, good point. I get really frustrated with people criticizing youth for not knowing things like cursive and driving stick. We, the older generations, are the ones that didn't teach them those things. That's our fault, not theirs. I agree 100%, which is why I am like reinstilling all of that stuff. Like that is, you will learn how to drive stick. You will learn how to change the damn tire. You'll learn how to do all those things.
You'll learn how to do a punch card. You'll learn how to use a washboard.
I don't know about washboard, but.
Or a mangle. Should we teach kids how to use a mangle?
I'll go with washboard for a mangle. Do washboard.
Like technology can move on. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's nice to know the basics. 20th Century Fox. I love how Ian turns into dad when talking about woodworking safety with Rob. This brings me to my story before we go to the next story. So, Mini-Mischief 2, little redhead kid, little redhead boy, 5 years old. He knows that I make pens. And I was watching him one night while Mischief was taking Mini-Mischief 1 to the Taylor Swift movie when it was being played. And we had plans. We were going to build a ramp for his monster truck, his RC monster truck. We're going to build a ramp for that so it could fly. And we're going to build a pen. So we went downstairs to start building the pen. And I had this awesome live edge that I had poured epoxy into. It was glow-in-the-dark epoxy. It was perfectly done. It was ready to go. And I get it cut out, and he's there watching the whole time, and we're having fun. 5-year-old in the shop, being safe. He has safety glasses on. He's doing well. He has the mask on and ear protection. This kid was like bundled. Like, you ever see parents bundle their kid up when they go out in the snow? Like you can't see the human. You just see like a little blob of thing. Mm-hmm. That was this child in the shop. So I get this thing on the lathe, and come on, man. I get this pen on the lathe, and I start turning it, and he takes the kids do the kid stuff where when they're trying to talk to you, instead of taking their mask, they take their ear thing off. They take the ear muff off so that it's like, hey, like they don't realize the disconnect between you removing this from your ear does not mean that you're actually talking louder. It just means that you can hear yourself. So I have to correct them, put it back on, get the lathe turning and the pen's being cut. And all of a sudden I get about halfway through cutting this pen and it explodes. Like just goes, it was something, and then it was powder. It was just poof. Now, Mini-Mischief 2 was 6 feet back to my left with glasses and the safety equipment, all the above. And it's a good thing too, because 5-year-olds, they snitch. Like they snitch harder and faster than anybody in the world. So it explodes, and I look back over my shoulder to make sure he's okay. And the look on his face, just eyes wide open, like, where'd it go? And I immediately said, okay, we're done with the pen. But why? Because it's no longer there. It's no longer a little thing. It's now just powder in the air. So let's build the ramp. So we build the ramp, and as he's with the RC car running it off of the ramp after we build it, I text Mischief and I said, so funny story. We're making a pen, and it was safe. It had glasses on, but it kind of blew up. What do you mean it blew up? I mean, it just like shredded. It just wasn't there anymore. Jack's fine. Don't worry about it. I said, yeah, Mini-Mischief 2 is fine. Don't worry about it. We're good. She comes home, walks in the front door. Mischief walks in, looks at Mini-Mischief 2. Did you have fun? Yeah, it was a great time. We were making a pen and it exploded. The first thing out of this kid's mouth was the snitching.
Of course it was.
Yeah. So look over. Way to go. Way to keep the secret. Good thing I told her beforehand. But every time he sees a pen, he asks me, remember that pen that exploded? You were going to make me another one. Fucking kids. God, I love them. I cannot tell a 5-year-old that snitches get stitches. That's not how that works.
Sure you can.
I could.
Because it's true.
But he would repeat it, and then I would be in even more trouble.
Also true.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's a bad idea. Don't make kids keep secrets. Correct. AG, taking a short break from a 7-hour depot with more I don't knows than you've heard in your life. They need to depose the guy who knows. Night. Thank you. AG, I tortured one of the court reporters this week in a depot that is going to be the subject of much litigation in next week.
I've seen a very entertaining depot where they asked the guy for something like for hours and hours, and everything was
I don't recall. Yeah,
it was just I don't recall. And so finally they start asking him some stupid questions just to f with them. And so it's, what did you have for breakfast today?
I don't recall.
I don't recall. What's my name? I don't recall. Because he was just told basically, I don't recall anything. And so it's like, what's your wife's name? What's your wife's birthday? Like, just
dude, that transcript's gonna be fun to deliver to the spouse at some point.
They get I don't recall on like every single thing, and it makes it very clear the guy's a liar. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, that was somebody who was over prepped, and I was just like, oh yeah.
My fight is going to be the well, we're gonna wait till that motion resolves before I tell you all about that. Patty P, love it here on Fridays. Thank you for being here. Love it here on Fridays too. Skylar, you made my ADHD start researching how to get carpentry degree. I'll blame you guys for my 2000. No, don't do that. Don't do the 2000. No tuition. No. Find a friend or a tradesman. Just find somebody. They'll gladly teach you. Angie, my thoughts are that if tech can survive a solar flare, keep it around and know how to use it. Good idea. Nikki Kranz.
I mean, the problem is we got limited time to train ourselves to use all these things, right?
It's true. But you know what they say, a jack of all trades, a master of none. It's a quiz. It's a quiz. Do you remember?
No.
You don't remember. A jack of all trades, a master of none. But oftentimes better than a master of one.
Or a master of none, which is what lots of people are.
But that's the whole phrase. So, Morgan, you did in fact share the semi. That was, you were lucky to walk away like without any injuries.
Wait, that's the car that it hit? How did the car win that fight?
I don't know. That's the semi. Yeah. I'm going to call you lucky to walk away for that one.
I agree. And I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. Crazy Cat Queen asked him Mini-Mischief 2. He wasn't snitching. He was bragging, Rob. Kind of. but it's a little bit of both, because bragging from like a 5-year-old boy's perspective,
bragging is snitching.
It's akin to snitching, because
if they put you into a police station and you brag, you are self-snitching.
Correct. Fender question: why family law and why criminal defense? Family law, I'll answer first because you're eating. Family law, I fell into. And it turned out that I actually had this really interesting thing where I could translate between people that were, I could handle the emotional handle the logical, and I could actually communicate between the two. And I actually realized that I could do a lot more good for people in protecting the things that's most important to them. Because family is really, really important, which is why it's also so emotional, but I could handle that. So that's why I did that. Ian, why criminal?
I've always been interested in criminal, in part because criminal law always matters. It always matters to everybody involved, pretty much, because like if you want to get into certain kinds of law, you're going to be arguing over whether somebody's fence was built 2 inches too far in one direction or the other. There's a lot of litigation around that. People make lots of money around, was the fence built in the right place and who owns those 2 inches? And I'm like, the only time anybody cares about 2 more inches.
Stop. Stop. Collaborate and listen. No.
Moving on. Criminal law is, like, as I said, it's important, but also I'm always the person who will be wanting to sort of be in the corner of the underdog, right?
Yeah.
And criminal law, you are always, if you're doing criminal defense, you're always in the corner of the underdog, because there is, and it's fascinating. Criminal law also has the most interesting stuff that happens. Family law gets there, but I mean, criminal law, you get Mr. Big investigations, you get
true. A lot.
You get all of these things, and so criminal law is fascinating, and I don't know, it's frustrating at times, but I love it. So yeah.
Megan MC. I know Ian. I know Ian very well. I know Ian very well. He ain't gonna get there. If unless I am like actively reading something and my brain is like on tune with what he's saying, I can see where he's going, and the chat's responding. Yeah. About time. Yeah.
Mr. Big has nothing to do with the 2 inches issue.
Yeah. Caitlin Moore, 2 inches only matters during a haircut.
There we go. That's where I was going.
That remark. It was that remark, and then where was it? It was Melissa Smith had another naughty one. Jack of all trades, master of none, but variety in bed makes everything fun. Thanks, Jack. Y'all are misbehaving. I don't hate it. Chrissy Lee, look who's back. Shady's back. Glad to see you back. Glad to see you back. She goes, I'm back. I just had to say hi. I missed you all. Missed you too, Chrissy. Glad to see you back. Hope you're doing well and phenomenal. Thanks for coming back and hanging out. We answered that. AAG. Funniest moment in the depot was when the defending attorney mocked trying to strike the testimony of depot. Is that a thing? No, not really. You object, but you can preserve the objection. You can actually make that motion in the depot and have the judge rule on it later. That's fair. Morgan, one of them, Ian, not mine. The last one he hit, so he lost his momentum by the time he got to that one. That's scary. Lord Howard, after Las Vegas, have either of you thought about safety changes to your offices?
I mean, there's not a lot you can do for safety changes here in Canada. So
My office is pretty safe.
Also, like something like that, I don't see how you can do anything about it. Like I can't frisk opposing counsel.
Nope.
You can't, right? So what would I do, right? Like, if opposing counsel wants to murder me, they probably can.
Don't say that. Well, they wouldn't want to, so that's...
I am charming, and so I don't think they'd want to.
But lore, there's not a lot I can do. Just to be cautious and vigilant, like honestly, just to remember that I always keep perspective on the fact that these are people's lives and they're emotionally invested in it, like far more than I could ever be, and to be wary of that. So I am cautious because family law, especially, there's a lot of emotion, and you just have to be aware. Hen house started making soap because I wanted to pass down the skills of my great grandmother. I'll stop my daughter to learn to make soap for the same reason. Hen house bath company makes some awesome soap. She sent me some. It is awesome. So, Hen house bath company. Yeah.
So recently I picked up a book on soap making, and I picked it up at like an estate sale. And I want to try it out. Somebody's asking, can I legally use a handheld metal detector? The thing is let's say I wand Rob, if we're on other sides of things, and there's something metal inside his jacket, and I say, what is that? And Rob says, go yourself. And I have no remedy, right?
Yep.
So there's like literally nothing I can do if I can't go into Rob's pockets. Yeah.
All right, last two super chats. Next topic. Aurora W. I'd be super interested to get both of your perspectives on the trial I sent to Rob's email. I will forward that to Ian. It's dark, but also interesting. I will forward that to Ian. Dark and interesting. We can cover that stuff respectfully and carefully. Wait, hang on. Rain made a YYC. Wouldn't Ian's opposing counsel be the crown? Correct, it would be. And that makes this even funnier. Jackie Lind. Ian, quote, sir, madam, this is not a frisk. This is a pretrial hug to make sure we're still friends when all is said and done. Then you have to say, do you consent to the hug? Okay, so swoop to next topic. Sports ball topic. And new swoop. Okay, so now I can bring up Brian Elman's chat. I do not buy Ohtani's story at all. Ipe stole his entire take-home pay from the Angels and was a degenerate gambling addict, but somehow had the restraint to not bet on baseball. Come on, man. Now, what is the content?
What was his game? That's the thing.
Well,
was he a sports bettor? Because gamblers, like gambling addicts, tend to have a game they play, right? And so if he likes the slots, or if he likes blackjack, then
Well, so this story has some context that we're going to drop some background on. USA Today. How to watch Shohei Ohtani's press conference. Dodgers star addresses media amid MLB investigation. Shohei Ohtani is, I think, right now the highest paid player in baseball. What was his contract recently? Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, apparently he was a sports bettor. Okay, yeah, sports bettors do tend to bet across multiple sports unless they have specific knowledge of one specific sport, but then the guy you'd think it was his specific sport would have been baseball. So I don't.
So Shohei Ohtani recently joined the Dodgers on a $700 million contract. $700 million. Patrick Mahomes got $450 million. The average salary in baseball, Major League Baseball, is, what was it? $70 million for average. We take all the major league players. Yeah. He was the first player. He's 29 years old. The first player in baseball history named unanimous MVP on multiple occasions during that time. Yeah, he's a pitcher and a hitter. So he basically is. There's really no other person that does what he can do. So he came into a lot of just the limelight. Well, not the limelight, but like there was some controversy surrounding him a little while ago. So superstar Shohei Ohtani will address the media Monday after MLB's Department of Investigations announced Friday evening it had launched a probe into allegations involving Ohtani and his interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara. Mizuhara, 39, told ESPN, "Why are you talking?" that Ohtani had covered the interpreter's significant sports gambling debts by transferring money to associates of an alleged bookmaker in Orange County, California. Literally, the dude was like, "I'm going to break your kneecaps," and Ohtani was like, "Here's the money." That's just paraphrasing.
As one does.
The outlet reported that at least $4.5 million in wire transfers were moved from an Ohtani account. Shortly after those comments, attorneys representing Ohtani claimed the two-time MVP was the victim of a massive theft. Without naming Mizuhara by name, will be contacting unspecified authorities. MLB has been gathering information since we learned about the allegation involving Shohei Ohtani and Ippei Mizuhara in the news media. Earlier today, our Department of Investigations, MLB has a DOI. Wow.
And a DUI?
A DOI, Department of Investigations.
Oh.
Ohtani is expected to address the matter publicly on Monday alongside translator Will Ireton. Oh, oddly enough, not translator, other person. So, yeah. Now, there was speculation that Ohtani was actually betting on games in which he was playing in. No.
Which is a party foul.
That's a big, big, big party foul. Hang on. Let's see. Where was that one? The problem is all the news media focused on this new one. Can't. Where is it? How reputable are you? Fairly. NJ.com. Shohei Ohtani betting scandal. How many bets? How much money? Any bets on baseball? Federal authorities on Thursday announced that Ippei Mizuhara, former interpreter of LA Dodgers Shohei Ohtani, is being charged with federal bank fraud amounting to more than $16 million. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said that Mizuhara stole more than $16 million from Ohtani to pay for his own sports betting and lied to the bank to access the account. There's no evidence that Mizuhara bet on baseball or that Ohtani was aware. He's a victim in the case. 10 years, $700 million contract. Okay. So, press conference. I've got it. We're going to play it because we're going to talk about it. Press conference.
Understood. If we have to.
We do.
It's sports ball, though.
16 mil from your interpreter?
I'm just like, how's the interpreter in a position to scam $60 million?
That's my curious part, too. Like, I'm going to go to the complaint after this, but 16 mil just...
I mean, sometimes law firms end up losing tremendous amounts to a rogue assistant.
Or Tom Girardi, who spends it on, whatever.
L&W.
Yeah.
Statements live from Dodger Stadium. Let's listen in.
No, I didn't. I didn't agree to that. Is that volume okay? No.
More volume.
まず皆さん、来ていただいてありがとうございます。僕も話したかったので、嬉しく思ってますし、チームの関係者の皆さん、僕自身もそうですけど、ファンの皆さんもここ1週間くらいですかね、厳しい。
I love the closed captions. Speaking in global language. You don't say. It's a global language. This kid's 29. 29 with a $700 million contract.
I wouldn't mind a $700 million contract. Does somebody want to sign me to a $700 million contract?
You can also kind of see how maybe he would possibly get scammed.
1週間だと思うんですけども、メディアの皆さんも含めて、我慢とご理解をしていただいたのはすごくありがたいなと思っています。まず、僕自身も信頼していた方の過ちというのを悲しくというかショックですし、今はそういうふうに感じています。
Well, first of all, thank you very much for coming. I wanted to be here today to be able to talk. I'm sure it was very tough.
Can we pause for a second?
And a tough week for fans and team officials. And I'm
yes.
Can you imagine, like, this guy's got to translate about the translator stole the money.
Did you see him writing? Yeah, no. Like the irony. The fact that
the other thing is like
Ohtani talked for like a solid 30 seconds, and this dude's writing all this down, and it's going to give you a paragraph. Impressive AF. 2, this person is translating a story about a translator who stole money from the person he's translating.
The other thing is, like, I bet that job application is like, that's an interesting process. Need new translator after previous translator stole $16 million. It's like, so what are your credentials? It's like, well, I speak English and Japanese and have 6 fraud convictions.
Yeah. I'm only going to go for the 1 or 2 million, not 16.
Yeah, that guy got greedy.
And by the way, I'm not throwing shade on this guy. I have no idea who this one is. It's just
I assume he's legit. It's just funny.
I would imagine that if your former translator was accused of stealing 16 million, your search criteria might be scaled up a bit.
It's just funny to have here's the new guy.
You will submit to all of the evaluations, everything.
Yeah, it'll be the rubber glove security screening.
Gosh.
Very
Rob is like, why do I invite you?
The media has been patient in this process. Just on a personal note, I'm very saddened and shocked that someone who I'm trusted has done this.
現在進行中の調査もありますので、今日話せることにまず限りがあるというのもご理解いただきたいなということと、また今日ここに詳細をまとめた分かりやすく皆さんにお伝えするためにまとめたメモがありますので、そちらの方に従って何があったのかというのをまず説明させていただきたいなと思います。
So obviously today there's things that I'm limited in being able to talk about. I hope you understand. I do have a document in front of me that I will refer to that will detail what has happened.
まずはじめに、僕自身は、何かにかけたりとか、誰かに代わって、そのスポーツイベントにかけたりとか、それをまた頼んだり、っていうことはないですし、僕の口座からブックメーカーに対して、誰かに送金を依頼したことももちろん全く、ありません。
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf, and I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports.
So he came right in there at the sports betting stuff.
Well, because that's what nukes his career, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't do this thing. Next is I was misled. That's my guess. Is that where you're going with this? Never done it.
Never done it. Somebody else has ripped me off.
Abused my trust, or created the it's create the relation. It's create the relationship, and that's abused it.
本当に数日前まで、彼が、 そういうことをしていたっていうのも、全く知りませんでした。
Up until a couple days ago, I didn't know that this was happening.
結論から言うと、彼が僕の、口座からお金を、盗んで、なおかつ、みんな、僕の周りもそうですね、みんなに、嘘をついていたっていうのが、結論から言うとそういうことになります。
Just to kind of just go over the result, in conclusion, Ipe has been stealing money from my account and has told lies.
まず初めに言うと先週末、韓国ですね、僕の代理人に対してメディアの、方から、私が、僕のにですね、違法のブックメーカーから、僕が、関与しているのではないかというスポーツ賭博について、関与しているのではないかという打診が連絡がありました。
Last weekend in Korea, media has reached out to a representative in my camp, inquiring about my potential involvement in this sports betting.
で、一平さんは僕にこういった取材。
And pulling up this comment here, Carla Barrick, I can see this player getting scammed. As a baseball prodigy, a reminder, this kid's 29, and universally viewed as the best baseball player, pitcher and hitter, and basically is just prodigy. Always been taken care of, his personal business to focus on baseball. Then he didn't know English while establishing himself here. I can see it. I can also see people running with a lot of stories that, if you were to say them out loud, would make sense. You know, like a best friend from childhood who happens to be translator, betting on Ohtani in games that Ohtani's playing in with Ohtani's money. The allegations were that Ipe was taking Ohtani's money and betting in games that Ohtani was playing in with his own money. That's kind of the crux of this, and where we are with a lot of this discussion is what was known, who knew it, what happened. So a lot of this hinges on Ohtani and whether the evidence backs up that he didn't know what was going on, which when you have a $700 million contract, 16 million that your best bud, and with 4.5 of that, you're paying back to bookies that he's in trouble with, which best bud, I get it. I can see that. I can also see people being really skeptical. I don't know. I saw this story break in the news in ESPN when the betting scandal came up, and I was surprised to see this charge come. So we'll see.
の依頼があるということをまず、僕には話していなかったし、僕の方にそういう連絡はまず来ていなかったということと、まず初めに代理人には、一平さんは僕と話して分かったのは、一平さんにではなく、某友人の借金の肩代わりとして、支払ったというふうに、僕の代理人も含めてみんなに話してました。
So Ipe never revealed to me that there was this media inquiry, and to the representatives in my camp, Ipe told to the media and to my representatives that I, on behalf of a friend, paid off debt.
で、その翌日にさらに尋問で一平さんは、僕たちの代理人に対して、借金は自分のもの、つまり一平さん自身が作ったものだということを、説明しました。
Upon further questioning, it was revealed that it was actually, in fact, Ipe who was in debt.
で、それを僕が、肩代わりしたという話を、
So the allegation was that Ipe needed the money to pay off another friend's debt. Okay. I'm following.
その時に代理人に話したそうです。
And told my representatives that I was paying off those debt.
そしてこれらは全く全てが嘘だったっていうことですね。
And all of this has been a complete lie.
一平さんは取材依頼のことも僕にはもちろん、その時伝えていなかったですし、代理人の人たちに対しても、僕はすでに彼と話して、 彼と話してコミュニケーションを取っていたっていうことを、嘘をついてました。
So Ippei obviously lied about, basically didn't tell me about the media inquiry. And then その代表に対して、
僕もそうだし、代表、チームもそうですね。チームも、代理の人たちに対しても、つまり僕とコミュニケーションを取っていたっていうふうに嘘をついてました。
So Ippei has been telling everybody around that Ippei has been communicating with Shohei on all of this account to my representative, to the team, and that hasn't been true.
そして僕がこのギャンブルに関しての問題を初めて知ったのは、韓国での第一戦が終わった後に行われたチームミーティング、の時、試合の後のチームミーティングの時です。
The first time I knew about this gambling, Ippei's gambling, was during the after the first game when we had team meeting in the clubhouse.
そのミーティングで彼は全部英語で話していたので、僕に通訳はもちろんその時ついていなくて。
Hold up. Imagine that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, did you just bet on your own game? And the pre-written statements thing, yeah, that's probably one, at the advice of counsel. Two, with the added complexity of having a translator there, you don't want to say something that could be mistranslated. Like, these are complicated press conferences.
I would absolutely want to be like,
crystal
if I'm doing
clear.
this, it's my lawyer will have gone through every single detail before I say a word out of my mouth.
I'm not gonna lie. I also wouldn't hate, like, if the translator was reading off his own prepared translation, like if Ohtani was reading off of his statement and the translator had a pre-cleared translation and was reading off of that, I wouldn't mind that. Like, if I was a lawyer, I would kind of insist on that. If I was Ohtani's agent, I would absolutely insist on that.
The translator has the opportunity right now to do the funniest thing ever.
What?
The guy reads out his, like, I had no knowledge, and the translator is like, I take full responsibility.
Oh, no, that's not funny. If you are Ohtani's lawyer, you are murderous.
Or just something else that's completely random that is like, I would like to offer my best wishes to the My Little Pony fandom. Just like something completely off the wall.
Yeah. So the chat is catching up a lot on what a lot of this is surrounding. Pete Rose. So Pete Rose was a former manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he has been banned from the game of baseball, based on allegations that he was betting on games that he was managing. So a lot of this does come up after a lot of that. So the Major League Baseball, and it's not just baseball, guys. This happens there's allegations of this in basketball. There's allegations of this in all sports.
Except golf, because golf is boring.
Easy.
I'm sure somebody has.
Most famously is boxing. You have a one-on-one sport where someone gets paid to take a dive. Yeah, I mean, inside trading. That's kind of what it amounts to. So the MLB wants to avoid insider trading allegations. And yes, this is not Brian Allman. Ohtani speaks English, however, he's more comfortable in Japanese and therefore prefers to handle public speaking Japanese. And his lawyer would say, do not speak in English if you cannot say exactly what you intend to say in English. Like, say it in Japanese. Like, when I have cases where I have a translator involved, I force that person to speak in their native language, because when they try to say something, honestly, in Spanish, table saw, very, very awkward translation. God, how do I know this? and it varies by country that you're in. So table saw was first, it was saw on table. And that client was Peruvian. And the translator screwed it up. It's make them speak in their native language and then translate it. Like have a professional translator. I agree with that remark. I'm not going to ever shade someone for having a translator present ever. Even when they can speak limited English.
This is absolutely a good time to have a translator for 100%.
Yeah.
すべて英語で話していたので、まあ、完全には理解できていなくて、まあ、なんとなくこういう内容だろうなっていうのはおそらくは、理解はできていましたけど、なんとなく違和感をその時は感じてました。
So during the team meeting, obviously, Ippei was speaking English, and I didn't have a translator on my side. But even with that, I kind of understood what was going on and started to feel that there was something amiss.
でまあ、その時彼は僕に対してホテルに帰った後で、2人で、より詳しいことを、2人で話したいので今は待ってくれというふうに言っていたので僕はまずその時は、ホテルまで待つことにしてました。
Just prior to the meeting, I was told by Ippei, hey, let's talk one-to-one in the hotel after the meeting. So I waited until then.
で僕は一平さんがその時にギャンブルミーティングの時にギャンブルの依存症だっていうのは僕はもちろん知らなかったですし、彼が借金をしていることもそのミーティングの時はもちろん知りませんでした。
So up until that team meeting, I didn't know that Ippei had a gambling addiction and was in debt.
で僕は彼の借金返済にももちろんその時も同意してませんし、物件メーカーに対して彼に送金をしてくれと頼んだことももちろん許可したことももちろんない。
I could just imagine that one-on-one meeting going something like the scene from Office Space with the photocopier.
You know what?
Ippei gets the star as the photocopier.
What's funny is like Ohtani, I'm used to seeing him with the helmet, like in the batter's box or with a baseball cap and his size. I'm used to seeing him like standing like on a baseball field with other players.
I'm used to not seeing it at all.
I know. Behind a mic, behind a microphone and like looking like this. I'm very much reminded this is a fucking 29-year-old. Like this is a 29-year-old. This is a lot.
I'm seeing people saying it's a printer, whatever machine it is.
It's the fax machine.
It's the PC load letter machine. So yeah.
Fax machine. This kid's a 29-year-old. Like look at his body, like look at everything about him. Like he's a kid. So this discussion, like Ian, if Ohtani was a 39-year-old, yeah, the discussion would probably be like the fax machine discussion. 29-year-old, I think he was probably just surprised.
Obviously,
I think he owns at least one bat.
He owns what?
At least one bat.
Probably hundreds. Well, no, he probably didn't own the Dodgers do, but yeah.
Obviously, I never agreed to pay off the debt or make payments to the bookmaker.
でまあその後試合後ホテルに、戻って一平さんと初めてそこで話をして、彼に巨額の借金があることをその時知りました。
And finally, when we went back to the hotel and talked one-to-one, that was when I found out that he had a massive debt.
で彼はその時私に、僕の口座に勝手にアクセスしてブックメーカーに送金していたということを僕に伝えました。
And it was revealed to me during that meeting that Ippei admitted that he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker.
All right, fair. 29, not a kid. I get it. He's not a baby. Maybe this is just like the sports thing. I don't like when people are under the age of 30. I look at all the shit that I said and did under the age of 30.
Do not elaborate.
Thank you. Learned counsel, I appreciate the advice. Guys, the kid term, broad use. 29-year-old. It's fair. Come on. I know my channel demographics. He's a younger gentleman.
で僕はやっぱりこれはおかしいなと思って、代理人と話したいということで、代理人たちを呼んで、そこで話し合いました。
And at that moment, obviously, it was an absurd thing that was happening, and I've contacted my representatives at that point.
で話し終わってこれを聞いて、僕の代理人もやっぱり彼に嘘をつかれていたということを、初めて知って、すぐにドジャースの皆さんと、弁護士の人たちにその時に連絡しました。
So when I was finally able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out that Ippei has been lying the whole time, and that's when I started contacting the Dodgers and my lawyers.
でそのドジャースの皆さんも、代理の人たちも彼らもその時に初めてまた自分たちも嘘をつかれていたということをその時に知りました。
And the Dodgers and the lawyers at that moment found out also as well that they have been lied to.
そして僕が弁護士の人たちは、これは窃盗と詐欺のことなので、これを警察の当局に引き渡すという報告を、その時にしました。
And my lawyers recommended that, since this is theft and fraud, that we have the proper.
He cooperates. So he cooperates. That's the end of the press conference. End of the press conference is we cooperate with the authorities. Deanna, Law and Lumber, were you practicing law at 29? I was. And there's a reason why we use the term baby lawyers, even though it sounds like demeaning to other people. There's a whole lot that gets learned, like in the practice of law specifically, during those 20s. So Ohtani cooperates because, yeah, one, you've been accused of doing this stuff. I don't know if he ever did it. I don't know. I'm still kind of skeptical. I don't know who to believe. All I know is that today, the press release, or was it yesterday?
You know who I can confirm was not involved?
You.
My client, Leo.
No, he was not involved.
He had no involvement in this. He is a good boy.
He was a good boy. Leo has been really good since he's taken really well to training, man. He's really doing well. He's loving it. Where was I? Let's see. Criminal complaint. You go bye-bye. You come front of screen. Thanks to my mods for finding this. Here's the actual complaint. U.S. versus Ippei Mizuhara. This is the complaint filed in, you guessed it, Central District of California. Criminal complaint by telephone or other reliable electronic means. I, the complainant in this case, state the following to be true to the best of my knowledge, yada, yada, on about the June 20th of 2023. Wait, why is this the right? Is it the right one? It is the right one. This is the warrant. So they brought the charges and brought the complaint pretty shortly after the allegations came known. That press conference. When was that press conference? Hold up. From the LA Times, federal judge on Friday ordered that the longtime interpreter be released on $25,000 bond and mandated he undergo gambling addiction treatment. If you've been gambling to the tune of $4.5 million in debt, I don't know that the treatment against your will is going to do anything. Mizuhara exploited his personal and professional relationship with Ohtani to plunder $16 million from the two-way player's bank account for years. At time impersonating Ohtani to bankers so he could cover his bets and debts. How's this dude going to impersonate this dude?
I mean, just speaking over the phone.
True.
Also, lots of people are really bad at recognizing faces and
I get you don't have to finish it. You don't have to finish it.
It's a whole area of like research and study and so forth.
Yeah.
So
like AI cannot actually discern those images.
It's not
like, but
AI. I mean, people
and
are
people.
really good at identifying faces of people who they're familiar with, and of intellectually your brain is lazy. And so what it'll do is it'll basically identify the least number of salient details to differentiate one face that you're familiar with other faces that you're familiar with. And so if you in your circle of friends only know like one black guy, then the black guy is sufficient.
Yeah.
But if you grow up around, black people, you're going to be much better at telling them apart. And if you don't know any white people or any Asian people or whatever else, you're going to have trouble with that, because that's the thing. Similarly, you can get people who get confused with, if you've got like a strong feature, like a scar or something, people might confuse some other dude who looks nothing like you, except that they have a similar scar as you. It's, it's a whole phenomenon, but
yeah,
you could get people who are just like, oh yeah, the Japanese guy, and that could be a problem. This is why facial identification is not the best. The other thing is that a lot of the time when we're doing facial identification, people are lazy. So they've done tests at like getting into bars with fake IDs. And they've tried it with like, the one research study that was doing this, they initially started with like, here's another person of similar build and shape and whatever. And they were really successful at using the wrong IDs. And in order to eventually start getting people to notice, they were still having trouble when they were doing things like, here's a picture of a spider monkey, or here's a picture of a woman instead of a guy, or, here's a drawing
people
of somebody,
who do
or a painting, or this kind of thing.
Tedious jobs are not looking at the photo.
Exactly. So
I kind of a little bit go back to this comment a little bit, that there's like a large version of the populace that goes all blank, even if it's subconscious. Here's the thing, even if it's subconscious.
It's not that they look the same. It's that you are bad at telling people
distinguishing
apart.
features. You can't tell.
If you don't have experience with a lot of whatever category, you just don't notice the distinguishing features. And that's, built into how human cognition is super lazy. So
it's like dialect for speakers. So a native English speaker who does not speak Spanish would hear Spanish and say that's Spanish. But someone who's been around it would hear, no, that's like Spanish from Spain. That's Mexican. That's Honduran. That's Nicaraguan. Like, you can distinguish the dialects because you've been around it.
I mean, heck, for a long time, London was like, if you don't like the accent, go 2 blocks over. There's a different one.
That's true. Mizuhara only spoke on Friday to answer the judge's question, saying yes when Magistrate Judge Maria Duro asked if he understood several parts of the case and his bond conditions. The yes was probably because his lawyer told him to say it because, well, I mean, going on. Wearing a dark suit and a white collared shirt, he entered the courtroom with his ankles shackled but was not handcuffed. The judge approved his attorney's request to remove the shackles. Wow, that's a picture.
It is.
Donnie, that's a what a shot. I'm not gonna lie. That's a
really good shot, because it makes that guy
look,
it makes him look super sinister.
What a great that photographer
poster. Yeah, I mean, the framing of this and the focus on this is really
this
I'm just imagining how much difficulty it took to position that and to get it in just the right thing
with the focus,
just the right focus.
And then the thing is, Ohtani is blurred, but he's not like full blurred like the people in the background are.
He's in soft focus so that you can see, like you can clearly tell who he is. You can make out his facial expressions. Like this is really skilled photography.
Holy
work.
Crap! This is a great photo.
It absolutely is. I mean, they should.
Who's the credit to? Richard Vogel. Richard Vogel.
Good work, Mr. Vogel.
My gosh.
They should use this one to like teach classes on how to do this.
So that's an interview. It was during an interview at Dodger Stadium on February 3rd. Former longtime interpreter, blah, 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 has been charged. Okay.
Wait, that was before they knew this?
Yeah.
How did this, like, this reporter or this photographer seems to have like, it's
or
like
just had it like there, like for something. I don't know. That's a hell of a shot.
Did he like call it of like this guy is going to be super suspicious?
I don't know.
I also just want to say these two guys look so different.
Oh yeah. Like every feature, every single feature, all of them. The lips, every single thing, every single feature. Hair,
I
lips,
can't imagine
chin,
like
nose,
how drunk
cheeks,
you'd have to be to confuse these two.
Or I'm going to say it, really racist. Yeah.
Yeah, or just completely like, yeah, I don't know.
Adapt and had like just living under a rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mizuhara turned himself in on Friday ahead of his court appearance, charged with 1 count of bank fraud and faced up to 30 years in prison if convicted. His attorney, Michael Friedman, no questions after the hearing.
Bankman Friedman? Or Friedman Bank?
No. Bankman is not so. Bankman is henceforth Bankman not so freed.
Fair.
Bond conditions stipulate that he can't gamble. Oh God. Or go inside gambling establishments or associate with any bookmakers. Here's
okay. That's real helpful.
Ian, you know it's going to happen as much as I do.
I mean, if he's a gambling addict,
yep.
Gambling addicts are. I was gonna say the worst. That isn't what I mean. Gambling addicts are some of the most tragic figures you'll encounter in criminal law because they go hard. And so one of the things you'll see is like pictures where they like raid a gambling addict's house, and it'll be like a mattress and like canned food on the floor, like, and the guy's got nothing because they will have sold their TV, sold their couch, sold everything until they're like sleeping in like a sleeping bag on a mattress.
Yeah.
And that's it because they got nothing else. Like, and it's a rough one. It's also tough because of all of the addictions, it's one of the ones that is most ubiquitous because like alcohol you can get anywhere, but gambling you can also get anywhere nowadays. Like if I wanted to gamble right now, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on whatever else, you can all of these things. Yeah. And like, so it's really, really difficult to break that away. So it's tough. Yeah.
So that's a bond condition that that's akin in my view, that's akin to a jail sentence. Like it's almost impossible for him to maintain that.
If he might.
It's not easy.
He might.
Not for the addicts, yeah.
And that's the thing is he might well I mean, give him the shot, absolutely. The other thing is that like not to go into any gambling premises becomes difficult nowadays because they like put VLTs in like just about every bar.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into a bar, it's like, oh, there's a VLT there. Like walk out of there, and Yeah.
So he's also prohibited from contacting any victim or witness. The hearing lasted 10 minutes, which is standard for these types of hearings. The judge told Mizuhara to let her know if he didn't understand. Probably your only chance to interrupt a judge, she said, joking.
He's literally the translator or the interpreter. Like, understanding English is exactly his skill set.
Yep. Drug testing, no passport, remain within CD of California. Okay. Bond approved. This is someone who's going to get a slap on the wrist.
It's a lot of money.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of money. But mind you, the victim in the case is Ohtani, technically speaking.
Yes. I mean, there's no technically.
He's the victim. He's not suing. The feds are prosecuting.
I mean, he's not suing because why? Like, you're going to sue this guy for the $16 million?
I know, but the feds prosecuting. It's well, let's go to the PC affidavit. I'm confused as to how the feds are charging this.
Well, because
here it is. The bets. It's the bets.
And also because of the fraud, like stealing Ohtani's money.
Feds don't really care about people's money. They care about system issues. While Mizuhara's winning bets totaled $142 million, which he deposited in his own bank account, and not Ohtani's, his losing bets were about $183 million. Net loss of nearly $41 million. That's a lot of fucking money.
Wait, what the fuck? Pardon. The text message. You got to get to the text message in the next paragraph.
I got it. In the message to his illegal bookmaker on March 20th, the day the LA Times and ESPN broke the news of the federal investigation, Mizuhara wrote, "Technically, I did steal from him. It's all over for me." Wow, that's a lot. Technically, I did.
Wow,
that technically is doing a lot of work, isn't it? I'm fascinated. Huh?
Wow. Wow.
Technically.
I mean, you know, this statement is going to be repeated.
I know.
Like lots and lots and lots during his trial, if he goes to trial, because with a statement like that,
a lot in my head.
It's time to just do a guilty plea.
But
that's going to be in the opening. That's going to be in the closing.
But can you not? Let me play not devil's advocate, but like the technically I did steal from him. Like, go back to what I was saying earlier. The accusations against Ohtani himself, right? That Ohtani had allowed this passively.
I think that
with that in mind, the allegation that Ohtani had allowed this, now read that text in different context. Technically, I did steal from him. It's all over for me. Reading further, not him.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great for Ohtani. It's terrible for Mizuhara.
I disagree. I think this is bad for Ohtani too.
Why? Why is it bad for Ohtani?
This fucking word technically.
I don't see how that's bad for.
That's like saying like if I'm in a conversation, like someone saying, well, you're going to get charged, right? But wouldn't he get charged too? And I say back to them, well, yeah, but technically, if you look at the law, I was stealing from him. Subtext is, even though he,
I mean, the thing is that that admission from Mizuhara can't be used against Ohtani unless Mizuhara testifies against him. Which he probably has no credibility on.
No, but that's also why Ohtani's lawyers were very smart to say, go cooperate.
And there's just like, Mizuhara has zero credibility here.
Nope, not.
You put him up on the stand to say, oh yeah, it was Ohtani's fault. And it's like, and did you get a deal? Yeah, I did. And are you a fraudster? Yeah, I am. It's like, I don't see anything that says Ohtani is anything. And I think that like read in on the technically, that's not how I read it at all. Because
no, but I get the conspiracy theorists that are out there. Because if you're latching on something, you're latching on that.
It's the way people minimize shit when they're admitting to something. You know, people will say things like, well, technically I murdered this person. And there's no technically about it. It's just, it's murder, right?
Yeah,
you get language like,
but you know damn well that gets your RICO conviction. Technically I murdered him, but I was instructed to by blank.
Well, no,
they're
people
both
say
culpable.
Like,
they're both guilty.
The thing is I hear this language all the time from people who commit the kind of weaselly crimes or the crimes that nobody wants to admit to. So you'll get people who are like, they're found with a whole bunch of bad pictures and they're like, well, you know, technically it's mine, but like I only like just collect it because I'm curious.
That's a really good point.
They say stupid things like that, and it's like, no, that is not what you were doing. You were, you know, that, but like, you know, it's not just technically it was actually, people just phrase things like that. And especially when people are admitting to things like frauds or embezzlement or that kind of thing. It's like, well, technically, I guess it was embezzlement, but, you know, I was going to put the money back is like a really common one. And it's like, really? You were going to put $41 million back?
But you see how I know you very well that I can push back a little bit and get you invested in a sports ball case?
No, I'm interested in the fraud. I don't actually care about the sports ball.
Yes, you do. Come on. You have to admit that was a good play.
I will say that was well done, Rob.
Yes. I got him. I knew if I pushed back, Ian would push back. Yes.
I'm interested in the crime. If sports ball involved more crime, I'd be all over it.
I know, but that's the part
somebody needs to invent crime ball.
And that's the thing. The second I start pushing back, I know you're going to fight me on it. So
somebody needs to invent crime ball. I know baseball's got like stealing bases, but like we got to go further. We got to get crime ball. Make that.
You don't understand. Like I am so proud of myself. Like I am unabashedly happy with how I pulled that off. Oh, guys, you ever want to know about lawyers being able to play both sides of any argument? Oh, that was so fun. Now
I got to figure out how to invent crime ball.
Kind of. All right, so the PC affidavit. That's what we were looking at before. And you know what? Kate Lewis, this is probably one of my favorite things. I love how differently Rob and Runkle think, yet they're great friends. That's the point. That's actually how I've used the Google Maps part.
Which you still
that argument. No, that argument's so great. And it's actually something I've actually learned a lot about is when I realized with that argument that when you went in hard on one position, like you went in hard arguing one side, my natural inclination was to oppose. And we ended up in a back and forth out of principle because we wouldn't give up. But we respected one another. So I've learned from that. And I've realized
I will not give up on that one because I am objectively correct.
Oh, God. But I have now learned when I need you invested, I need to find out what side you kind of want to take.
And then take the other side.
And then argue the other one. And all of a sudden, you get your back up. And then you're like, I want to know more. Oh, it's great. Yes, I love it. It's fantastic. So, summary of probable cause. Beginning in November 2021 and January 2024, those are very different dates. More than 16 million was transferred via wire from a checking account belonging to victim A, a professional baseball player with an account number ending in yada yada, held at domestic financial institution Bank A. That's a lot of okay. These funds were transferred to bank accounts of the associates of an operator of an illegal sports book.
I wonder who victim A is.
These Fed PCs, man.
If only there was some way to figure out who victim A was.
I don't know.
I guess the world will never know.
The FBI is so funny about their damn information. Everything is redacted or confidential or something. It's like, well, come on, man. We're not that dumb. In an interview with law enforcement, Ohtani stated that he didn't authorize the transfers from that account. Transfers from that account were made from devices and IP addresses associated with Mizuhara, an individual who was, until recently, employed by Ohtani as a translator and de facto manager.
I really wish we could figure out who victim A was.
No, we've already replaced it with Ohtani. Text message on Mizuhara's mobile phone show that in September, Mizuhara began gambling with Bookmaker One's illegal sports book and began losing substantial sums of money in late 2021. Bank A records show that during the same period, the contact information on the account was changed to link that account to Mizuhara's phone number and to an anonymous email account, which is connected to Mizuhara based on data found on his mobile phone. Interesting. Recorded calls produced by Bank A, this call is recorded for quality assurance, related to the account, show Mizuhara falsely identifying himself as Ohtani and attempting to trick and deceive Bank A employees in authorizing wire transfers from the account to the associates of the bookmaker. Yeah.
Wow.
Could also be a cutout guy. Bank A records show that Mizuhara accessed the account pretending to be Ohtani and transferred funds to associates of bookmaker. In particular, on June 20th, 2023, Mizuhara accessed the account from the Central District of California pretending to be Ohtani and wire transferred $500,000 to an associate of Bookmaker One. Finally, Mizuhara on March 20th, 2024, sent Bookmaker One an encrypted text message admitting that he, Mizuhara, had stolen the funds from Ohtani.
That's the technically message.
What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot. Like, you went from 8, which was back in 2023, June, to that one. I mean, feds keep stuff close to the chest. So, been investigating 12 defendants. Okay. Going on. Evidence seized. Confirmed Bookmaker One's involvement in the operation of an illegal sports bookmaking business. Oh, they're going after a lot of people, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Text message confirmed that Mizuhara was a bettor in the sports book. Hundreds of pages of text messages with a phone number, which I know to be associated with Bookmaker One, as well as messages with the phone number I know to be associated with Bookmaker One's agent or partner. The feds and their anonymity. Interesting. On or about September 24th, 2021, Mizuhara messaged Bookmaker 2, how does withdrawing and paying work? Bookmaker 2 responds later that day, he pays and collects as the week ends Sunday night. Whenever you're up and down, Sunday night you pay or receive. Last week you were down and he rolled it as he's okay with it. Well, that's a nice bookmaker. I say have a settle figure, meaning pick a number you want to settle at either way. On or about October 27th, Bookmaker 2 messages Mizuhara. Bookmaker 1 asked me to reach out to you. He sees you playing and wants to settle this by tomorrow. That like he wants to reach out to you, ... He sees you playing and wants to settle this by tomorrow. I can meet you, or one of his runners can. I'm back at Anaheim now. Is there any way to pay Bookmaker via credit card or debit card? No, they don't take credit. I can wire the amount to his bank account. Do you know what bank he uses? Dude, bookmaking and bookkeeping is a scary fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
There are criminals I'm scared of. These people, they make me nervous. On or about November 2nd, Bookmaker 2 messaged Mizuhara, hey, Bookmaker 1 asked if it was sent. Mizuhara responded, I tried sending it 2 days in a row and it keeps getting canceled. Likely story. I might need to send less amount at a time. Also likely story. Can you ask him if I can send a smaller amount, maybe like 15,000 at a time? Let me tell you how the bookmaker is going to respond to that. I'll send it on back-to-back days. Sorry for being a pain in the ass. On or about November 4th, Mizuhara messaged Bookmaker 2. The bank wire keeps getting canceled. I'm going to use PayPal to send the money. That's a lot of money via PayPal. Can I please get Associate 2's phone number? I had to put it in the system. Whatever phone number he has for checking account. Following day, PayPal's not working. They said I can't send that much money since I'm in Japan right now. Same bank. So he's dodging his bookie. A lot of it. 40K, yada, yada. This is weird. Wire info. All right. What we have learned is don't do gambling. Just don't do gambling. Bad run with $1 million gone. Can you bump me? Last 200K, I swear. On my mom, this will be the last I ask before I pay it off once I get back to the States. Sorry for keep on asking. Well, I've seen this. So have you, Ian. This is sad to watch and read. Gambling addict who's just, don't worry, I'll get it back next time. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Continue to bet. So, yep. Tamara Turner, don't crime, kids. Don't gamble, man. Like, if you are a gambling addict, if you have done that and you feel like you can't stop, please consult and find somebody. Get out of that crap, because that will destroy your life, marriage, family faster than you can imagine.
Yeah, and it'll absolutely ruin it.
Every part of your life, too. So, Mizuhara is released on $25,000 of bond, which I believe has been posted on signature only. I don't think it was, you didn't have to put in collateral. And that's where we are with the story. Look at that. 2 stories. Not that long. We got them done. Remain focused. Brian Alleman, I bring this back up. I do not buy Ohtani's story at all. Ippei stole his entire take-home pay from the Angels and was a degenerate gambling addict, but somehow had the restraint to not bet on baseball. Come on, man. People can judge this story now, after we've gone through a little bit of it, with new context. That was the benefit. So people can read and judge it for themselves. Kathy Brewer, I was the kid always sent with dad to report back. Yeah, the problem child that always goes back and narcs on dad. Reese Marie, by the way, no shade. It's just it's a tough life. Dads get a lot of shit. Reese Marie, I've been hoping someone from LawTube would cover the Ippei story. As a huge baseball fan, it's been wild. I have to do more of a deep dive. This was scratching the surface. With that PC affidavit, I have to go more into it. A lot of this just hit the news media today, so I'm going to be taking a deeper look at it because I'm now fascinated with the gambling aspect. LJ Peach, I had a friend who was a psychiatrist and she was murdered by her partner's patient that she didn't even know. Oof, holy crap. Please make sure partners make you aware of troubled clients. Done and done. You got it. Jolene saw a video of a depot where a woman didn't want to be videoed and the office said sorry, so she put pantyhose over her head. Well, I can tell you the video still plays at trial.
And is still just extra hilarious.
Didn't do much to stop that. Rachel Mills, I sent you the Fed's complaint too if you want to. I'm going to read that after the stream. I want to get more into this. I'm now curious. SDR Ippei, former translator, was Ohtani's childhood friend, and that's why he trusts him so much. That makes sense. Prince Cat Queen, I don't like this interpreter. He's totally missing the respectful aspects of Shohei's speech. That's part of the job. He's got to kind of condense. That's why I said I don't hate the idea of having a prepared speech and a prepared translation. There's nothing wrong with that. VidWatcher. Law and Lover. Pitching Ninja makes baseball vids, but is a lawyer in real life. Very interesting. He made a point in this statement, Ohtani went beyond, I did nothing. He put himself in jeopardy saying Ippei committed a crime. I don't know that puts him in jeopardy. I'm very interested to see the video, though. I'm probably going to look at that after we finish. Jack Campbell, they may be taking it so seriously because of Pete Rose. We talked about that. They probably are. Grace Cat Queen, thank you very much. Gambling among baseball players is rare in Japan, as in the 152 years in Japanese baseball history. Baseball is practically a religion in Japan. That I knew. If anyone ever has an opportunity to watch Japanese high school baseball, it's intense. I also knew that. The reverence they have for the game is pretty amazing to see. Steve A., thank you. Ohtani, Japanese statement denying betting. Translator, I see a red door and I want it painted black. That would have been interesting. Merskal, Neuro Nurse, rough, short-staffed weekend last Thursday through Monday. FNF and Monday Night Fun. Monday Fun Day. Help keep me sane. Thanks, Robin Ian. Making Hatch Green Chicken Chili next weekend. Hatch Green Chicken Chili. Yeah, baby. I love Hatch Chili. Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite chili peppers of all time. Professor of Logic, when I was 29, I had to walk 13 miles to school uphill both ways and drag the butter churn behind me. I imagine you did, Professor. Tubby Tilly, congrats, Rob, on the additions to your family. Thank you very much. I love them very much. Equality, sorry, unrelated, but can you guys send some good luck and positive energy to my daughter? She has a dance competition tomorrow. She just turned 10 this week. Congrats. Well, I'm going to say congrats because you're going to win. Say congrats because you're going to win. But in
just,
the interim,
don't Nancy Kerrigan the opposition.
Ian, she's 10.
Mm-hmm. People get competitive these days.
1, she doesn't get the reference. 2, she shouldn't get the reference. And 3, we should not educate her on the reference.
Fine.
How about this? Have the best time ever. Enjoy it.
Yes.
Don't worry. Have fun. You're with friends. And I know you're going to do great. Cheers. Yeah. Diane Tincher. Mizuhara had 40 million of gambling debt. We learned that in that affidavit. Lost in a crowd of 3. I recognize voices far easier than faces. That's actually kind of a fair assessment. Wendy Wilkinson, Ipe 39, Ohtani 29, important age dynamic, in my opinion. If they were childhood best friends with a 10-year age difference, that actually plays a little bit. Anna I, small thing, but a pet peeve for me. That's an interpreter, not a translator. Translator is for written language. Interpreter is for spoken language. I apologize for the confusion. That's my bad. Thank you for teaching me something I didn't already know. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Elise, thank you very much. Or the photographer was great at Photoshop. I'm going to go back to this photo because I disagree.
I don't think it's shop.
That's not shop. This is a damn good photo. Where was it?
I mean, maybe it's a really good one. This is also fair. Should be don't Tanya Harding the competition. Kerrigan was the victim. I couldn't remember which was which.
Oh, yeah, Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya Harding.
Yeah. No, this is the photo. And, I disagree. That's a damn good photo. Hang on.
I don't think that was Photoshop. But
here, that's a better view. No. If it's Photoshop, it's very good. Yeah. Wendy Wilkinson. In my experience, gamblers are also good manipulators and liars, along with all the sadder stuff. Yeah, that's fair. Joe Lloyd, thank you for FNF. Thank you for being here. Bop it. Technically, see what happened was. Diane Tincher, a native Japanese speaker, read 9,000 pages of text messages between Ohtani and Mizuhara. There was zero communication about sports betting. Ohtani is innocent. Thank you for the context. Ian, can you pull up one or two?
I can. Mizuhara asked Ohtani for it, but he lied about why. Fair. Jonathan Duger saying the most frustrating part of my job is taking a 40-ton, 70-inch semi or 70-foot semi through the mountains on the SawStop things. Inherently dangerous things are still inherently dangerous, no matter how much safety crap gets mandated. Yep. Jackie Lindy says, Ian, crime ball has already been invented. It's called politics. I hate that you're correct about that, but you are correct about that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of money in crime ball. So, yeah, people are going to keep playing. Joe Loy says, nice chat, Rob. I hope that's not sarcastic. So, yeah.
Wait,
Bamberino?
I stepped away during the crime ball is politics, like the best remark. The most accurate remark.
You did.
It's perfect.
It is.
Okay, sorry. You can read that.
Bamberino says, Runkle needs to see 8 Men Out, sports ball organized crime from 105 years ago. They had sports that far back?
Yeah, they did. They had sports back further than that. Yeah. Horses and Hounds, thanks for remember. Nicole has ADHD, 8-year-old son with autism getting stitches. Thanks for the stream. Nicole, my hat is off to you. Cheers. Best of luck with the stitches part. I know that your son's probably an amazing human being in all sorts of ways. But watching a child get stitches, that's got to be tough for any parent. Any parent. Jackie Lynn, Ian and Rob Hatch is in New Mexico. Yes, and New Mexico actually has like IP law treatment, copyright over Hatch. You cannot call your chili a Hatch chili unless it's from Hatch, New Mexico. Probably not that far from Santa Fe. Yes.
I hate origin. Yeah.
I do, but I love Hatch chilies.
I hate.
I get it. I get that part. I understand. I get it. I'm with you. Like, I don't like the whole, like, you can only call Champagne if it's from Champagne, or Hatch if it's from Hatch. But Hatch chilies from Hatch, New Mexico are damn good. So that's the part I like. All right. So, like I said, shorter stream this evening because, getting concise with the topics. Gonna try and narrow things down. And I made Ian listen to sports. I made Ian care about sports ball.
You made me care about crime. Those are different things.
But in the context of sports ball, right? We can agree on that part.
That's fair. But I mean, I would also be interested if like one of them just punched the other.
Yeah. But you were invested for a minute.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Because they did crime. If more sports ballers did crime, then
you guys don't understand how significant this is to me. I got Ian invested in a sports ball case. It was great. Oh God, I need more of those. All right.
So what we need is like golf pickpocketers, or golf pickpockets, or
we'll probably find those, or a good golf course skirmish.
Yeah, there we go.
Multiple possible defendants or assailants. Oh, I like this. We can do good. Yeah. Where was this? No, I didn't gloat and ruin his foray into sports ball.
No. It's
no. It was just teasing. It's a little fun. All right. To all of you who are still with us, thank you guys for being here very much. To the 2,284 of you that are still with us, please hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. And if you enjoy the content, please subscribe. Also, my very good friend, this Canadian to my viewers left or right, I can't really recall, does a regular show on Mondays, Monday Fun Day, beginning around 8:30 p.m., sometimes 9 p.m., depending on when his workday ends, because again, he's a practicing lawyer. Please go check that out. He covers some funny stories, a lot of topics, and he has a lovely little 2-hour mark in his channel or in the video where once you hit 2 hours, he takes the topics that he's kind of been wanting to talk about the whole time, but he can't because it involves language, and starts talking about those. So please check out his channel on Monday. Ian Runkle of the Bailey. Ian, thank you for being here, my friend. As a preview on Monday,
I'm just wondering, like, if you wanted the interesting sports ball thing, why not bring up that OJ passed?
No, there you go. I knew you were gonna do it because it felt cliche.
But he passed of cancer and died surrounded by all of the family members that he didn't murder.
And you said the remark and not me. Yes, I saw the OJ news. I also saw all the other news about the former juror who was like, yeah, we knew. The man wrote a book that said, if I did it.
And the funny thing on the if I did it is that because it ended up the book ended up under the control of the the family, they got to change the typography. They couldn't change the title, but they could change the typography to little tiny if.
Don't give them suggestions.
The other thing that's really interesting is do you heard about the NDA claims?
I saw a lot of those people coming out. Now, here's the thing, Ian.
How do you enforce that?
I want you to be as skeptical as you are when you talk to me about this stuff. The people that are coming out and saying, I was subject to an NDA. One, show me the NDA first. Before you start talking about it, show me the NDA. Because when someone passes away, it is an opportunity for anyone to come out and said, I had an NDA I couldn't talk before. So that's point number one. Also, don't write a book said if I did it. Like, just don't write that book. Not legal advice. Just don't write the book that said if I did it. And that trial was, I've talked about this before. Like, prosecution team was entirely over their heads. They were behind the 8 ball. Like, what a fucking case, man. Wow. Oh, I remember the white Bronco driving. Don't you remember the white Bronco driving down and running the fastest or the slowest high-speed chase ever existed? Like, everyone's just following him.
It's got to be the... I'm not even going to say it. It's terrible. Yeah.
Oh, and Cielo, they didn't just... It wasn't that they hated women lawyers. One, there were women lawyers in defense. But two, Marcia, you don't put an attorney who's never done a violent crime prosecution as lead counsel in a first-degree murder charge against O.J. Simpson. I mean, that thing started off as a loss. So, great trial to talk about. A lot to cover. Like, if that was a trial of the century, that's like a 5-week series to try and cover any of that.
Oh, it's. I think Alita went over that one.
Oh yeah, no, Jeff did too. Johnny Cochran against Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran was not the only rock star on that defense team.
Yeah,
that defense team was loaded, and the tactics that they employed were epic on every single level. And one of those other defense attorneys that was not Johnny Cochran is the one who elicited the evidence that allowed for this statement to be made in closing. And it was a game. It was a trick, a great trick in how to get OJ to try on the glove. One of my favorite stories of all about that trial. If you're not going to make him put on the glove, if you're too much of a pussy, I'm going to make him put it on myself. No, you're not.
No. And I mean, I wouldn't have been smart enough to bait them into it. I would have been objecting to that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that trial was a absolutely wild trial. And you know what? It's part of the past, part of the history. Will we ever know? No. Do we have an alternative theory as to what might have happened written by the person who was alleged to have done it? Maybe. Sir Merrick, not even midnight yet. Are you feeling all right? I am, Sir Merrick. I'm trying not to like run my body into the ground and completely destroy myself. Like I'm really doing, and I've got to pack up the whole house. Oh, programming announcement and like kind of show announcement. You guys are going to notice that the background is going to start like losing items. The items are not being lost. They're being packed.
They're being moved.
Moved from this location to another location. Because I have to sell this house. And when I go to list this house, the last thing I want a potential buyer to do is walk into this room and be like, what are all these robots sitting in a jury box?
And also, what is this lighting? Is this a sex thing?
My brain didn't go there. Yours did. That's weird sex lighting in. Nope. But yeah. So you guys might start seeing things like start to kind of disappear because I'm packing them. But I'm keeping them. And when I get to the new place, I might have to ask you all who have donated so many of these things, whether you would be comfortable with me donating them for a charity or auction them off for charity. Because I might not have enough space in the new place for all of them. So perhaps we can do a charity auction and get rid of some of this, not stuff, but auction some of these things to new homes for a good cause. I like that idea. Now, obviously, some of those things are not going to be auctioned. Like a lot of them are not going to be auctioned. Oh, counting down to 3 months until this house is bye-bye. Okay. All right, folks. The robots are not crying. The robots are happy. They're coming with.
Kristen M96 says, wait, so no new bots?
Not for the time being, Kristen. Like, hold off. Hold off. Because it's a lot. The bots are big. We have mini bots. I don't know if you can make mini bots. Let me explain. Like, the bots are not. Here's Emily's bot. They're not small. I love the bots, though. These guys are family. Yeah, no, the bots. No, they're family. Rob, you don't seem excited about moving. I am. I'm very excited. I really am. It's a whole undertaking. I am excited about being in the new home. I am not excited about the process of moving. The process of moving is torture. End of story. But being in the new home, I love that bot. I love the wood grain bot. That's such a freaking cool bot. Yeah. Moving is a tough process.
It is.
Especially when you have a lot of very carefully calibrated power tools. And when the idea of someone bumping those out of alignment, yeah, my stress level is going to be like a 15 out of 10. It's going to be fun. Will I have a shop? Yes, I will have a shop. I will have a shop. I will have a studio. I will have all the things. Don't worry, guys. I was careful. So, all right. Last one. Ian Paler. I wonder if EDB could do an interview with the state's attorney that were there for OJ trial. EDB has actually talked to me about this. They do a CLE or continuing legal education seminar, and they have a conference where they have the attorneys come and talk to them about the case every now and then. She has a lot of details about it. I also had the opportunity to attend a CLE by one of the attorneys who did a very in-depth review from the attorney's side, where attorneys will talk to attorneys about a lot more than they talk to newspapers. So you get some of the inside stuff. It's a freaking cool trial. Elise says, Rob, you need to make Ian a jury box. I'm going to say this. Ian.
You know how much that would cost to ship?
Ian can make himself, and this is not a quiz. Ian can make himself a jury box. He's just doesn't want to do it.
And it would be insane to ship something like that.
No, I said, Ian, you can make yourself one.
I know. I also just don't have the time.
I know. Like that table saw that you don't want to fire up because you don't have the time. So.
I don't think Rob is going to rip open drywall anytime soon.
The joy I will bring some family several years? You mean the horror? Nah, the countertop is enough. I'm leaving enough myself behind.
Now I'm just thinking like go to like a slaughterhouse and buy like a, a crate of bones.
No.
And then when you do renovation, just put all of those behind, just so that when somebody rips into it, it's just like
nope. Ian, as a criminal defense attorney, you know damn well that's a bad idea.
I know damn well that's a funny idea.
It's a funny bad idea.
And then when they run the DNA, it's like these are all beef.
These are cows. These are cows.
That, or you drill a small hole at the top and you just put marbles in until the wall is like full of marbles. Oh, God. And then when somebody has to tear into it for whatever reason, it's just marbles.
You're a terrible person.
That or glitter.
you have still tasked me with carrying out your end of life plan, which involves a battery operated fan, ashes, and a certain politician. So, I mean, a promise is a promise, but shit, like we got to be careful here. Sir Merrick, make sure to camera the main sewer line in the new place. Oh, I did, because my sewer line is made out of Orangeburg, which for those of you who don't know that is, World War II, we ran out of iron shortage, so we started making pipes out of sawdust and tar because we thought that was a good idea. Yeah, so my house built in 1948. Had that. It didn't work out well. I had to replace that thing. That was not cheap. Lindsay, I think what Elise meant was that Rob needs to go to Edmonton to make Ian a jury box. I think she did mean that. And I think she's probably right. Absolutely. It's warming up there now, too. I might see Ian in Nashville soon. I don't know.
That is the hope.
That's the hope. Okay, we are going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's stream. Thank you guys for being here. Much appreciated. Thank you indeed. Please remember to like the stream. And if you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe, and please remember to check out Ian on his channel, Runkle of the Bailey, especially when he releases his Monday Fun Day stream. He'll probably release a video over the weekend. He usually does. So please keep an eye on that.
Plans to try to get some things. So yeah. Carla, I'm going to Nashville. We'll see if CrimeCon wants me to speak. I don't think they do, but
yeah, they probably don't. But
there's probably a bunch of reasons for that. Mostly it's channel too small, but otherwise it's yeah.
So guys, have a great weekend. Honestly, get outside. It's a beautiful spring day here today. Hopefully it's beautiful weather where you have it. Get outside, go make something, go have some fun, spend time with family, hug your loved ones, and I will catch you guys next week for the 200,000 sub celebration, channelversary, and birthday stream, and the reading of the disbarment of my former employer, which I had promised.
That's gotta be fun.
We'll have fun next weekend. Okay. Good night, guys. Happy weekend. Happy Friday to all. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.